Forces weekend continues here from West Point, New York, along the banks of the Hudson. The 4,400 cadets marching their way into the stadium, getting ready to watch Army. They're back on the home turf here at Michie Stadium for the first time in almost a month, looking to continue their winning ways. They've won 9 straight games inside this great venue, and today they welcome in for the Mid-American Conference the RedHawks of Miami as the Black Knights look to continue their winning ways here today. Great to see you. A pleasure and an honor as always, alongside my broadcast partner Jay Feely. My name is Ben Holden. Jay, we haven't seen this Army team in about a month. They have had some big things happen, including almost beating number 5 Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago on the road.
That would have been a huge win for them. It was so close in overtime, but then they go and they beat Buffalo handily and then destroy San Jose State last week, 94-16 in the last 2 weeks, outscoring their opponents, playing really good football.
They really are. Today, though, they will have to do so without their starting quarterback, Calvin Hopkins, who is out for the game. So what does that mean for Brent Davis, the offensive coordinator, and his offense?
Well, Cam Thomas comes in. He's probably a better runner than Calvin Hopkins. Faster, more elusive, doesn't throw the ball near as well. So it changes the offense, a number of plays that they're not going to run, that they had been running. You know, we saw 4 games last year for Army where they didn't complete a pass.
Yeah.
You could see that today for sure.
Yeah, no question. Cam Thomas yet to attempt a pass in his career, his young career here at Army. So Jeff Monken in his 5th year, Chuck Martin, his good friend. We'll get into that as we go along. He's in his 5th year. His team in the last 4 games has played really, really well offensively.
The turnaround came when they made a commitment to running the ball. You see right here, last 4 games, 211 yards rushing, almost 300 last week against Kent State. They want to run the ball and then hit play-action shots down the field. Because they're running the ball, it's made this offense much more effective.
It really has. They've got a veteran quarterback in Gus Ragland as well. Here is Jeff Monken with a chance today to get his record here at Army, over 500 with a victory against his former college teammate at Millikan in Decatur, Illinois. Chuck Martin also in his 5th year. Coached at Notre Dame with Brian Kelly for a number of years. The weather here today, it's still a beautiful West Point Saturday with some clouds in the sky as Army will be donning their black uniforms today. The RedHawks will be in the white and their traditional red as it's teed up as Salyers has got it set to go, Jay.
Well, Chuck Martin told us that they have to get a lead to win this game. He wanted to win the toss and get the ball. He's going to do that here as they're going to get the ball in this kickoff. And for them to be effective, he says we got to get a lead. We can't play from behind.
And it sails into the end zone off the kickoff of Landon Salyers. And Miami will have it first down and 10 from the 25-yard line. And let's go down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team. It's Tina time. Tina Servacio. Tina, what do you got for us? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Ben and Jay. Now, in addition to quarterback Calvin Hopkins being out for Army, the Black Knights have come back from their road win against San Jose, depleted with several injuries. Wide receiver Jatiel Klein, he is out. Safety James Gibson is out. Left tackle Austin Shuford and fullback Kalen Holt are both dealing with lower body injuries. They are available but limited, and Coach Monken this week has suspended indefinitely running back Fred Cooper. He says that's because Cooper displayed poor attitude and poor effort the last few weeks, Ben.
Thanks, Tina. A lot to deal with, and Jeff Monken feels he's got his team ready to go as Ragland throws it on first down. Nicely broken up over there. On the coverage over there by Army. Getting to the ball was Elijah Riley. It's time for our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And Gus Ragland, senior out of Cincinnati Moeller High School. Jay, what's the book on him?
Well, you know, he came in after they started 0-6 in 2016 and then played really well, led them to 6 straight wins. He's effective, he's smart, doesn't make many mistakes. Almost threw a pick there to Elijah Riley on the first play.
Riley's upped his game this year in a big way. Kenny Young with a football, and the pursuit is there. Good job of the captain, Cole Christensen, to get over there and make the stop. The rest of the Miami offense, you like Dominique Robinson. Why is that? I
do. Big, tall, physical receiver, 6'4", 240. Last 3 games, he's really come on for Miami. He's got that size advantage. You can see fades, back shoulder fades, taking advantage, trying to go down the field for some big plays.
Had a career high 5 grabs for 77 yards against Akron a couple of weeks ago. Former quarterback, 3rd and 11 now. RedHawks a touch under 37% on the season. Ragland, far side, taking the shot, got a man out there, and it is incomplete. Or did he catch it?
You said catch.
He did. Dominique Robinson, who we just talked about with Reynolds all over him. They're talking about it, though.
They are. You got to see if he brought it down. It's the exact play I talked about. Throwing a fade, taking advantage of the side. Now they wave it off and say incomplete.
Amanda Sauercook, our referee today. Let's look back, Jay.
6'4". You see the size. Being able to just throw it up, let him go make the play.
It's an incomplete pass.
So he had the ball. He had it caught as he was coming down. But the question is, does he complete it? Does that ball move when he hits the ground? You see him pull it out at the end. They called it incomplete. This should be a good look here. I think he's got it. I'm surprised they're not looking at this again.
They have not blown the play dead yet for a review. Replay official today is Steve McBride. Kyle Kramer on to punt. Mike Reynolds standing back in the neighborhood of his 35-yard line. Army brings heat. Reynolds under it. Gonna try to make a play here in the return game, and he gets it out to the 46-yard line. The tackle made by Jadon Rucker Furlow for Miami. And it's time now for our Chick-fil-A lineups. And we start first with a quarterback today, as Jay mentioned and told us about, in the open, making his first career start as Cam Thomas.
Yeah, never attempted a pass. He's a good runner. He's got more speed than Calvin Hopkins had. But can he be effective in this offense? You know, go back to Ahmad Bradshaw's first year, where they struggled because they fumbled the ball. 38 fumbles that year. Because you have to get into the mesh. You have to make so many decisions. And so that'll be the challenge for Cam Thomas.
It will, after a 41-yard punt and 11-yard return, his first pitch of the game. And good job coming up to make the tackle there. Miami getting a big play as they stop Kel Walker. And he's the guy you're highlighting today, Jay. Why is that?
Well, he's a speedy running back, dual threat. He's their leading receiver, leading in rushes. Had 80 yards rushing against Oklahoma. I think this Miami offense or defense is going to try to plug up the middle, take away the quarterback, force Army onto the perimeter, and that's where Kel Walker can make some plays.
He can. He's a home run hitter. Told us yesterday, after that Oklahoma game, they feel like they can play with anyone in the country. Good pickup there by Cam Thomas, Jay.
He was really close to breaking this for a touchdown. It was a good run, a good decision.
Miami in the Chick-fil-A lineups. Miles Reed, why is he important today?
He's starting at will linebacker because Junior McMullen, their great linebacker, is injured. He did that against Akron as well. Against this triple option, your two middle linebackers, Reed and then Koenig, who moves over to the Mike spot, they have to be really good. They have to shut down both the quarterback as well as the fullback for this Army offense.
Junior McMullen, a senior out of Oak Park, Michigan, begging Chuck Martin to play, but he said, just can't do it. Third down here for Army. Thomas hands it off. Into the mosh pit they go, and it's going to be fourth and a couple, and this is certainly an area where Jeff Monken is not at all afraid to go for it. Army is first in the country on fourth down at 90.5%, 19 for 21.
Yeah, there's no decision here. They already know they're going for it. They knew on first down, if it was 4th and 3 or less, they were going to go for it. They've been effective all year, really for 2 years. They made a decision and a commitment to going for it on fourth down, and that's been really a huge key to their success.
Certainly has. Here they go, 4th and 2. There's the percentage I mentioned. Thomas has it. Thomas slips through there. Thomas gets the first down. Cam Thomas, who had a touchdown run last week against San Jose State, 7 carries, 74 yards, gets a big first down here.
When we talked to Chuck Martin, he was talking about Calvin Hopkins and what they did and how he's able to throw the ball. And so really their whole preparation this week was for an option quarterback for Army who could throw the ball. Now you don't have that, so you kind of prepared your defense. Now you have to change again, and their whole staff is going to be trying to make adjustments, figure out, okay, now we want to be more aggressive. We're going to get more guys in the box because they don't have necessarily that threat of throwing the ball like they did with Calvin Hopkins.
Yeah, here's Thomas again, making some good decisions out there. Great pickup. If you're Army, you're going to take that all day long, about an 8-yard pickup on first down.
And what we've seen so far from Cam Thomas and really Brent Davis is let's not give him too much. You can see really there's no option really. He's just, it's a quarterback keeper bringing it outside. There was no mesh to the fullback, right? That's the hard thing for these quarterbacks is to get the snap quickly, get into the mesh with the fullback, and then pull it out and make a decision and then get down the line. That makes it much easier when you don't do that. You say, okay, we'll just give you a little sweep. We'll trust our offensive line, and that's what Jeff Monken told us. Our offensive line without Calvin Hopkins has to step up and play really big.
They certainly do. Hopkins had a huge week last week. Multi-touchdown game on the ground, threw a touchdown pass as well as Andy Davidson on the carry there. One of 5 in that stable of fullbacks. It's a first down to move the sticks for Davidson, who a couple of years ago, we were talking about it before the game, man. He burst on a couple of years ago, but times have changed.
Yeah, averaged over 100 yards a game his first 5 games, and then, you know, got injured, and then Woolfolk comes in, he gets established, and now they have Holt and Slumka. They have 866 yards, 12 touchdowns already this year from the fullback position.
Yeah, you saw Kelvin Hopkins there on the sidelines watching Cam Thomas. 7th play of the drive upcoming here for Army. Knocking on the door of the red zone. Thomas still with it, slithers through there, and Thomas is close, but he's going to be about a yard or so short. The tackle made by Miles Reed, who you talked about a moment ago for Miami.
The offensive line doing a really good job here, getting pushed, creating a seam there. Cam Thomas, you can see his ability to kind of quickness, make a move, explode. They said he's got more speed than any quarterback they have on the roster.
Connor Slumka's checked in the game at fullback. And 2nd down and a yard. And Slumka's got it. First down as Army continues the march. Known as the Wexford Sledgehammer. Not a real sledgehammer-like run there, but effective.
I was talking to a couple of players before the game for Army. They said that probably their 2 fastest players on their team are Kel Walker and Cam Thomas. So now you have an explosive running back. Whereas Calvin Hopkins has been really effective and powerful and has done a good job, almost 500-yard rushing for him and throwing the ball for 605 yards. But you don't have that dual threat now, but you have this explosive running back who can break it at any point.
Asbury goes in motion. Andy Davidson on the dive. Kimpler in there to gobble him up, and Koenig as well. Brad Koenig, product of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Former walk-ons, turned into a very good player for Chuck Martin's defense. So 2nd and 8 here now, facing Cam Thomas, who came in 3 games played this year, 10 rushes for 91 yards. All he's got, he's never attempted a pass, and as you said, partner, that's probably not going to change today.
No, I gave you the over-under of 2 pass attempts today. You took the under.
Normally we have a lot of fun with Brent Davis with that, at least I do, of throwing the ball more, and they've done that more with a guy in Hopkins who's out today that can do it. Here's Woolfolk, short pickup. As Mike Brown got to him first. There's Brent Davis. The Brent Davis camera's back for this game, Jay.
He's done an excellent job. We had a good talk with Jeff Monken about both coordinators, Brent Davis and Jay Bateman. Jay Bateman, one of the best D coordinators I feel in the country. Brent Davis doesn't get a lot of credit, but what he's done is he's been very creative with their blocking schemes. Chuck Martin even talked about that. What they do on the perimeter outside, some very unique blocking schemes that create space and allow this triple option offense to be so effective.
3rd and 6. This will be the 12th play of the drive. Chuck Martin hoping his defense can stiffen here and hold to a field goal attempt. 3rd and 6 now. Thomas in the room outside. Reed tripped him up, but he gets the first down inside of the 5. It'll be 1st and goal, Black Knights.
Miles Reed saved a touchdown here. A little counter play. You fake it to the left, and then you bring it back to the right. You get Cam Thomas outside. If Miles Reed doesn't get a little flick on his ankle, Cam Thomas is going to score. But they get the first down. Now you're in 4-down territory, right? You got 4 downs to try and score a touchdown here for Army, and Chuck Martin told us we can't get behind. So his defense needs to step up and get a stop here.
5 carries, 37 yards for Cam Thomas. He said, yeah, we're not going there to be the scout team for them. And Army takes it in for the touchdown. Darnell Woolfolk, the big boy, and fist pumps him out in that offensive booth from Brent Davis. And the Black Knights have drawn first blood, leading it 6-0, a 2-yard touchdown run for Darnell Woolfolk.
Just a little fullback dive. This is the staple of Army's offense. And who do you go to? You go to Darnell Woolfolk. That's his 15th career touchdown. He's so good inside the red zone. No fumbles last year, the entire year for Darnell Woolfolk. Fumbled his first carry against Duke this year, but hasn't since then.
6th rushing touchdown of the season is John Abercrombie. Fitch isn't holding, by the way. Zach Potter's the holder, but Army takes care of business. They get the rock, they take it down the field, and Woolfolk punches it in from 2 yards out. My name is Ben Holden. Great to have you with us, and it's a 12-play drive, 54 yards, nearly 7 minutes. 2-yard touchdown by Darnell Woolfolk, capping it off. And Jay, these folks that we're going to show you here in a minute,
Ladies and gentlemen,
they are thrilled about that. Fine men and women in the United States Army, and there's a look at the 101st Airborne over in Afghanistan. We salute you for your service. We thank all the men and women that serve in all the armed forces, especially the U.S. Army.
We certainly do. Thank you guys and women for all of your service. I talked to Chuck Martin before the game.
Yeah.
His father served in the Korean War in the U.S. Army. We wanted to give Al a shout out as well.
It's great. It's awesome. Great to see the men in that picture enjoying the ball game. 7-0. Here comes Miami. They bring it out. A big shot delivered just at the 25-yard line. And let's take a look, Jay, at your extra points. Your keys, what are they?
Well, for Miami, got to stop the fullbacks. You know, that's where it all starts for them. That's what Chuck Martin told us. They want to force it wide onto the perimeters, hit some big plays. They tried to go to Dominique Robinson on the last drive. They called it incomplete, but they got to continue to do that for Army. Don't turn the ball over. You have this new quarterback. You're trying to run your offense. You got to be effective with it. And then defensively, they got to get pressure on Ragland. If you give him time and allow him to sit back there, he will be dangerous, makes good plays, and will kind of pick you apart as he goes down the field.
Yes, he will. He is very good in the red zone as well. Danny Young, the back next to Ragland. Beg your pardon, that was Sorensen, one of their wide receivers. Ragland keeps it. Good chunk picked up here, and he slides in for the first down at the 40-yard line. So hop on the bus with Gus. Good look at it here, Jay.
It doesn't run the ball a ton. 89 yards coming in, only 2.2 average, but a very good decision there. He looked downfield. There was good coverage. He had a seam. Take the seam, get a first down. Nice play.
Picked up 14 yards, did Ragland. So the RedHawks, if you're just joining us, trying to counter after punting it on their first possession. Army got it and then marched down the field in 12 plays. Ragland with a ton of real estate slides in there right at midfield. Should be a first down. Indeed it is. So Gus Ragland doing it with his feet here, Jay, on this drive.
Yeah, it's a good run, but watch what he had here down the middle of the field, the seam. Well, if we go back and we get a chance to look at that.
Ragland handing the football off. And Army's got the ball. Max Regan's got it, but I think this play was, it was blown dead. Let's go back to the previous play, Jay.
Ragland had a nice pickup, but watch right here down this seam. If he throws this ball, he was looking there. He got behind the safety. Safety goes wide, and there's an area to make a big play. Ragland didn't take it. Those are the plays that they're going to have to hit if they're going to win this game.
Kenny Young, he's got it. He's a dangerous weapon, is Kenny Young. Nautigal got to him first.
Young, the ball carrier.
And he got to him a yard before getting the first down. On defense, brought to us by Chick-fil-A. Cameron Jones, your guy today. Why is that?
One of those injuries that Tina talked about. Starting in place of James Gibson, who's really their communicator back there on defense, so that role changes. Nice stop there.
Big time stop there, standing up to get Kenny Young. Outstanding work turned in by Army, bringing up a 4th and 2.
If I'm Chuck Martin, I'd go for it here. I'd be aggressive. He knows he's got to counter Army. He told us that coming into this game, they were going to be very aggressive with every decision they make, because I don't want to give Army that ball back, not see it for another 6 or 7 minutes, have them score again, and here you go, they're going for it on 4th down.
Well, yeah, when Army's tops in the country, time of possession, 39 minutes and 44 seconds, 4th and 2. Miami 50% of the season, 7 of 14. They fake to Young. Now they check off, find the tight end. They've got the first down and then some into the hands of the redshirt sophomore Andrew Homer for a RedHawk first down.
Yeah, and they use him here. A good job with the play action to freeze the linebackers. Homer fakes like he's going to block, gets out in the flat. It's a good conversion. Exactly what Chuck Martin was hoping for.
Pickup of 11 for Miami. The RedHawks under pressure as Ragland smartly gets out of there and just throws it out of bounds. Bring up 2nd down and 10. Raymond Wright with a pressure there. Armed Forces football proudly supported today by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Look at Michie Stadium. Good turnout here. It's homecoming. In Armed Forces weekend, we'll have Navy coming up when we're done, facing Ed Oliver in Houston. Air Force a win last night We'll see them here in 2 weeks. That'll be a monster game for those two teams. Ragland hands off. Maurice Thomas, a hometown product down there in Oxford, Ohio. Takes it down to the 29-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and long. Stop made by Christensen after a gain of 2.
I thought it was interesting talking to Jay Bateman. We talked about last week, 4 possessions, 4 forced fumbles in the second half against San Jose. Really broke that game open. He said, when I know what you're doing, if I can get a pick on what you're doing formation-wise, then I can be aggressive on you. There he goes.
Right on cue, and they get to Ragland and throw him down to the turf. Christensen stepping up again.
Here's the blitz. Jay Bateman bringing the blitz right through the middle there. Cole Christensen getting into the backfield. Now, I think they're going to look here to see if that should have been intentional grounding. They're talking about it. Did the ball get back to the line of scrimmage?
The clock to 3 minutes and 34 seconds for the incomplete pass.
There you go. That's Amanda Sauer-Cook, a Mid-American Conference crew here today. So 4th and 8, Jay. They're going for it. From the 29.
Well, their kicker's got a big leg.
3 minutes and 34 seconds on the clock, please.
Plenty of leg to make a field goal here.
Yeah.
I might kick this field goal. I know you want to be aggressive. It is 4th and 8 here, though.
Right. You need to get to the 21 if you're Miami to keep this drive alive. Ragland 1 of 5 for 11. The pass to Homer is all he's done through the air.
Bateman showing pressure.
4th and 8. Ragland looking. They move the right side. Looked like they moved Tommy Doyle, the 6'8 tackle.
False start offense. Number 54. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Well, Jay Bateman showed that they were going to bring pressure. Max Regan came up over Tommy Doyle, and then he false starts. Now backs it up, and you go from a tough spot, 4th and 8, to a very hard spot in 4th and 13.
Yeah. And they're leaving the offense on.
That'd be a 51-yard field goal now.
Yep. Kenny Young will be lined up to the right of Gus Ragland.
I'd go to the bottom down here. Right here, Luke Mayock. 6'4", throw it up, give him a shot.
Big target, Robinson, as well as the play clock winds down. He just got off, pressure coming. Ragland steps up, wanted to throw it, now he's going to run it. Can he get there? No! Army comes up from the 2nd and 3rd level. Christensen in there, leading the charge to stop Miami and Gus Ragland.
Ragland made the decision to run. It was a poor decision. Army gets the stop.
Wow, your choice rules. And by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Cora Cadets saw 4,400 filed in, so Miami, Jay, they go for it. It's 4th and 8, they get a penalty, they still go for it. Your thoughts on that?
Well, originally they should have kicked the field goal. It would have been a 46-yard field goal. I watched Sloman go back to 50 easy, plenty of leg. I think there, if it's 4th and 4 or less, fine, go for it. But there, you need points. You got to have something positive for your team. You get a false start and outbacks it up. Now you're 4th and 13. Ragland ran for it. He should have thrown the ball as well. So I think 1, it was a bad decision, and then 2, was bad execution.
So Chuck Martin's team back on the defensive side of the ball, 2nd in the MAC and 32nd in the FBS, allowing just 123 yards rushing a game. But this is a different animal, as we well know, and those that follow Army football. This is a different animal than most teams that run the football. So Kelvin Hopkins there on the sideline a moment ago. Cam Thomas, who carried it 5 times for 37 yards on the opening drive, gave it off here to Kel Walker. Not much there. Miami stiffens there on that play. Time now for our Where Are They Now? Let's look at this week's Where Are They Now, brought to us by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. How about Raymond Maples? Man, was he good. Saw him a couple of years. Almost 3,000 yards rushing in his career. Back-to-back years in 11 and 12. Has not been deployed yet. Currently stationed at Fort Benning and scheduled to be pinned to captain in December. So well done by Raymond Maples. 2nd and 6 here after a 4-yard run by Walker. Thomas keeping it. Slipped out of that tackle the first one there by Brad Koenig, so it brings up 3rd down and short here, Jay.
And it's a really important 3rd down here for this Miami defense. Can't afford to let Army get a long drive, to go down there, to get ahead 2 scores. They really need a tackle for a loss here. I think if Army doesn't get the 1st down, they'll go for it on 4th down. We've already seen that once today.
Yes.
It's 3rd and 2 right now. If you can get a tackle for a loss, which this Army offense does not allow very often at all, then possibly you force a punt.
Woolfolk, tough to slow him down. He can get 2 yards by leaning forward. He got 4 there to move the sticks. Darnell Woolfolk, the senior out of Endwell, New York, picking it up.
Just power football. Very easy decision for your quarterback. And we asked Brent Davis, okay, how does that impact? You lose Fred Cooper, who's a nice, good running back, so he said that takes away some of our zone runs. You don't have Calvin Hopkins, so what does that do? Well, you shrink the playbook. You try to make things simple. You take out the checks.
5th first down of the game for Army. Good play there. Stepping up there was Koenig. He is all over the place, and he's been all over the place for a lot of his career. Real good football players. Jay, we'll take a look at Cam Thomas and his work thus far today.
Yeah, he's been effective. They made it easy, not a lot of decisions. You know, one of the things that's made this Army offense so good is Brent Davis has brought all these checks in, so they'll go to the line with 2 plays, look at the defense, and then take the better of the 2 plays. They don't want Cam Thomas to have to do that much thinking. They want him to go out and be reactive. Just go in, know what the play is, run it, and execute it. Really, Brent Davis says it's more on me now to put us in the right play versus what I think they're going to do defensively.
Yeah. There's a little trick action. This is Kel Walker.
There's a big player
Kel Walker's got home run speed. Kel Walker, 1st down and more inside of Miami territory, was forced out of bounds by Cedric Raymond. But the march continues for Army.
You're continuing to run the ball, triple option, triple option. So you run it this way, and then you get the reverse coming back from Kel Walker. And then look at the blocks right here. Everybody doing a good job, getting blocks, creating all that space for Kel Walker.
Cam Harrison, one of those you were talking. Those wide receivers, man, they take a lot of pride in it.
And he did a good job right there at the end. You can see him with the inside arm. We've talked about a lot. Don't put your hands on the back and get a penalty there. You got a big gain. He just puts his inside arm and turns and basically blocks him out.
Yep. They take great pride in that. They don't catch the football much, although they've caught it more this year than any year either one of us have been around here.
Because Jeff Monken told us that Calvin Hopkins is the best throwing quarterback in this triple option offense he's ever had.
Not just here.
Not just here. The 1st quarter.
Wow, that flew by.
That's what happens. That's what Chuck Martin was worried about.
That's the end of the 1st quarter here along the banks of the Hudson. Army on top, 7-0. We'll return to West Point after these messages. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network.
Where tradition and superstition are one and the same. Home is where greatness happens.
The Black Knights are bowl eligible.
Army, for the 2nd year, has won it.
CBS Sports Network, the home of Army football.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant General Darrell Williams, 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy and former Army football player. Our job here at West Point is to educate and train and inspire the 4,400 cadets who will one day have to lead our soldiers in ground combat. Here at West Point, we talk about living honorably, leading honorably, and demonstrating excellence. Today, you will see Army football players demonstrating that excellence. You'll see tenacity, you'll see grit and relentless pressure. Those same characteristics that we expect of our Army lieutenants as they lead soldiers in combat. Go Army!
Superintendent Darrell A. Williams. Good to have you back. 2nd quarter underway. Cam Thomas getting the start at quarterback today. Let's go down to Tina Servasio, who's got an update on the Army offense. Tina, what do you have?
Yeah, we saw the way that Kel Walker runs and plays the game. He told me yesterday that when the team went into Oklahoma, they were playing with a chip on their shoulders. Of course, it's a Power 5 team, but then he says people doubt us because of our size and then our demands away from football. But we knew we could play to our expectations. Now, obviously, Walker was disappointed. They ended up losing that game, but he said Army walked away feeling we could play anyone in the country, and that's how they have to play from here.
They certainly do as Woolfolk tries to get it. Looks like he's got it on 3rd and 2. They needed the 31.
It's really close.
I mean,
yep, I give it to him.
We've watched this build for Jeff Monken, but that to follow Tina's point.
Injury timeout on the field.
An injured RedHawk down. It's Darius Thompson, redshirt senior defensive back. We've seen this progression the last few years here. Now, I think the whole country realized that this team can play with anybody.
They certainly, I mean, to go from 2-10 in 2015 to where they are now and what they did over the last 2 years is really impressive.
Yeah, we're going to take a timeout while they tend to Darius Thompson, injured now for Miami. That they have put on the bench there. They had to help him off, Jay. He's a key guy in their defense. He's number 8.
He's right here. He's trying to turn back because he thinks that Cam Thomas has the ball, and he gets rolled up on late at the end of this play. Nothing malicious right there. You see on the edge of the screen getting rolled up on, but they told us, Chuck Martin did, they want to play with 2 inverts this week. So instead of the safeties, they're bringing them down and getting them in the box. And Darius Thompson was playing the boundary invert. Mike Brown's playing the field invert. So when you lose one of those guys, you're already making all these adjustments. You can't play your base defense against this triple option. That's tough.
Yeah, and this Miami team used to playing of course, the Mid-American Conference, where it's action, where the ball, every team's running a spread, so a different animal indeed when you're coming in here.
Yeah, so we asked Chuck Martin about that. What are you going to do? He said, well, we can't play our base defense, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to play with these 2 inverts. We're going to be simple, but be aggressive. You know, we want to stop the fullback and the quarterback, force it out wide to the perimeter.
And he talked with us, too, about his days at Grand Valley State, where he won a couple of national championships in Division II, going against a couple teams every year in that conference.
Yeah,
so he's
and at Notre Dame as well.
Notre Dame, yep, I was getting there. 2nd and 5 now. Thomas hands it off. Good job by the front. Miami blows that up. Constant getting in there, big 58. And Sterling Weatherford, as you see Darius Thompson there, they're moving him to go take a look at him, and you hope for the best for him. 3rd down coming up.
I like Costin a lot.
He's a good player.
He's got good penetration there. You know, when I went back and looked at it, he's got more sacks than Ed Oliver does on the season from the same position. 4 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss, now 8.5 with that play. He's their best defender. I think overall in the entire team, he's the best defender, he and DeAndre Montgomery.
Chuck Martin told us he's a great player and far and away our most dynamic. 3rd and 6 now. Thomas not going to get there. Good play. I'll tell you what, this Brad Koenig, we had them last year. I've had him years before. This guy always makes plays.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Hard worker.
Almost 250 tackles in his career.
Yep.
Just coming right here, coming across, reading, coming up, making the play. Nice sure tackle. It puts Army in a tough position here. It's 4th and 4. That's right on the verge of what they want to do. I don't think they're going to kick a field goal outside of 40 yards. This right here would be a 42-yard field goal, so they're going to go for it. Abercrombie's their new kicker. He made his first career field goal against San Jose State last week, a 33-yarder. His range was about the 40 yards.
Army 1 for 1 today, so they're now 20 of 22 on the season on 4th down to lead the country. Walker into space, got a block, cuts back. Walker's got the 1st down. So Kel Walker has come to play today, getting an opportunity and making the most of it so far, Jay.
Yeah, and that's what Miami's trying to do. Stop the fullback, stop the quarterback, smash mouth inside. So where is that going to create opportunities? On the perimeter outside to Kel Walker.
Came in with 166 yards on the ground. Their top pass catcher with 130 through the air. So Army in the red zone now, and look to do what they do. 5 carries for 29 for Walker. Davidson's the fullback now, as Chuck Martin's guys dig in and try to get a stop here. Asbury was in motion. Thomas keeps it. Didn't go far. Again, guess who? Koenig, 38. The first guy to get a piece of it. Dean Lemon helped finish him off as well. And I want to remind you, Armed Forces football proudly supported today by Golden Corral.
2nd and 9.
Army hasn't attempted a pass yet. Not a surprise. They've been effective running the ball.
Yep. Cam Thomas hasn't thrown one in his career. Brent Davis up in his office for the day. 10th play of the drive coming up. Beg your pardon, 14th. Too many notes on that card. 14th play of the drive. Thomas, the pitch. And it's Asbury, and a good stop there to get Asbury as he tried to hurdle his way by it. And making the stop was Miles Reed. 3rd and 4 coming up, Jay.
They split Kel Walker out. Now, if Calvin Hopkins is in there and they split Kel Walker out, as a defense, you're going to be watching him because he's the leading receiver. With Cam Thomas in there, you really don't focus on that. Now you just continually to focus on the running game and stopping Cam Thomas. He's got 11 attempts for 54 yards. Kel Walker, 5 for 34.
3rd and 4 here for Cam Thomas and the Army offense. Davidson's got it. Davidson, touchdown! Andy Davidson caps the march with a touchdown run for Brent Davis's offense. And the Black Knights extend the lead. It's 13-0 here at Mikey. 11 yards on the run for Davidson, capping a 15-play, 74-yard drive that took how long? 8.5.
And that's what they do, the top team in the country. Almost 40 minutes a game, time of possession. Both touchdowns, fullback dives. Andy Davidson getting in the act now, and this Army offense hasn't missed a beat without Calvin Hopkins.
Mike Vitti there was an outstanding fullback in his Army playing days about 10 years ago. Coaches those fullbacks, and the point after good. So a 14-0 lead here for Army early on in the second quarter. Miami will get the ball when we come back. Their fullbacks, one from Woolfolk and the most recent one from Andy Davidson. Time now for our View of the Core, brought to you by M-Core. 4,400 assembled across from us here at Mikey Stadium with a pretty good turnout here
nice
today.
Crowd
Jay,
today.
I saw you looking down, and
absolutely.
There's Tina with a very special guest. Tina, it's all yours for Tina time.
And he is a former cadet. Today at Army, they are honoring Space Week, and I am joined now by astronaut Shane Kimbrough. He's a colonel in the U.S. Army, graduated from West Point back in 1989, and was a member of the Army Black Knights baseball team as a pitcher. First of all, such a pleasure to meet you, Colonel Kimbrough. What do you take from your experience in Army athletics and bring it to what you have to do in space?
Well, there's a lot of great parallels. The main thing is teamwork, leadership and followership. We learn all that here at West Point. Being able to operate in a pretty austere environment also is something we learn in the Army as well as in space. So it's an honor to be here back at West Point today and watch the Black Knights get a victory today.
Last year, you were on a 6-month expedition. It was the expedition of 4950. Spent almost 6 months in space. And during that time, you did a video chat with the Army baseball team. What do you discuss with them when you have the Earth behind you?
Yeah, that was a great memory for me, and I think for the cadets as well. But it was a really chance for them to ask me a bunch of questions, for me to kind of walk around or float around and share what it's like to be in space with them.
Colonel Kimbrough, thank you so much for your time and for all that you do.
Thanks for having me.
Ben, Jay, back to you.
Thanks so much, Tina. Only at West Point do you meet people like that. That was great. Maurice Thomas on the return. This kid's dangerous. He took one back 99 against Western Michigan already this year. He's still on his feet, out near midfield, and a great return for Maurice Thomas, Jay.
Huge, exactly what they needed. We talked about this with Jeff Monken, because one of the big weapons, and if Miami was going to have a chance, they had to hit plays on special teams, specifically with Thomas. A good job hitting this, and then it's all on him. This is a right return. He's bringing it up, and then just the ability to have vision and bounce back outside. Bad job there on the coverage. You have to have an inside shoulder tackle there. Jeff Monken will not be pleased. That's an easy play that you're supposed to make there by Elijah Riley. You have to come up, constrict the space, make an inside shoulder tackle, because that's where your help is. He doesn't, allows Thomas to get to the outside, and he picks up another 15 yards.
See the time of possession there, no surprise. Army leads the country in that department at nearly 40 minutes a game. Ragland and this Miami offense looking to get something going. They get it to the outside, and Reynolds the first over there to make the stop on Jack Sorensen. First time we've called his name.
Yeah, Ragland's averaging over 200 yards a game. He only had, that's his second completion of the game. His first was to his tight end on 4th down. So they got to find some rhythm in this offense. Start hitting some plays. I like that call. Come out, a quick little swing pass, get something going. Even though it's a short game for 4 yards, it's a completion.
This time Miami had the football. They went for it on 4th and 13. They were stopped on the ground. Maurice Thomas trying to forge his way ahead, but Army standing tall in there is going to bring up 3rd and a mid-range call. About 5 they're going to need to convert here.
they want to be able to run the ball. What they've done over the last 4 games, Miami, when they've been effective, is running the ball. In their 3 wins, 264 yards rushing. In their 4 losses, only 73 yards. The problem is Jay Bateman's defense is excellent against the run, only giving up 111 yards per game.
Miami yet to convert on 3rd down. They need the Army 42-yard line if they want to convert. Pressure coming. Ragland fires, gets rid of it, and Nautigal made the stop there. And the catch made by Nate Becker, their starting tight end. So Chuck Martin's guys moved the sticks again at 13, Jay.
Yeah, he was playing with a club on his hand.
Yeah. Right
up the seam, right where we said they could have success against Army, trying to go to those tight ends in the seam. Multi-year starter.
Former walk-on.
Former walk-on. Love those stories. Same with on the defensive side, Koenig.
Yeah. How about Nautigal, who made the tackle last week? 3.5. With 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 8 tackles. Now Ragland got him wide open, caught. Kenny Young, touchdown. Miami strikes that quickly. They get Young out of the backfield, and Gus Ragland leads him to the end zone. A 34-yard touchdown pass, and the RedHawks are on the board.
Yeah, just a poor job here defensively. Kenny Young lines up right there in the backfield. Runs a little route right up the sideline. Just a little swing route, little wheel route. Poor job by Max Regan, recognizing the wheel route, staying with it. That's Kenny Young. He's one of their fastest, quickest guys. You have to know where he is all the time. But a good response by Miami.
Good snap, good hold by Kramer, and Sloman bangs it through to make it a 14-7 game as Kenny Young showing up.
Big plays, that's what we said they needed to do. Desperately needed something. Miami and Ragland respond back in this game.
Young on the bench, his 3rd touchdown catch of the season, 7th in his career. Very talented player. And let's look back at his 34-yard touchdown catch here, Jay.
Well, nothing special here. I mean, he's right here. He's just going to run a little wheel route, coming right outside. You see that all the time. Here's Max Regan. He's the safety. Watch him come all the way up, and then he knows he's in trouble and tries to bail and stay with Kenny Young, and he's too fast to do that. He thought it was going to be a jet sweep. He got fooled.
Yep.
Now he's in trouble. Kenny Young gets behind him, but that's a great response by Miami. Had to get something going. Down 14-0. Nothing had been working. Ragland comes out, veteran presence, doesn't get rattled. I love the play, even though it was only a 4-yard game. The very first play of that drive, you know, it started with the big kickoff return. Let's give Thomas credit.
Yards, yep.
And then you come out, you get a completion. It's 4-yard, but it settles you down. Yep. Okay, now we're good. Yep. Now I hit the tight end in the seam. Then I hit Kenny Young with the swing pass down the sideline, touchdown. We're back in this game. Now their defense has to step up.
They do. 4 plays, 52 yards. Took 2 minutes. Ragland was 3 of 3 on the drive. As you said, got going with that short pass, and then capped it with a 34-yarder. He had 50 yards passing on the drive. An Army who's only, returned 3 kickoffs?
That's it, 3 all year. They've made a decision to take advantage of the new rule.
They have. We'll take a timeout. 14-7, Army in the lead. They've got it. We come back.
Today's Best Western rewards you in a...
Serving the Armed Forces veterans and their families for over 85 years. Insured by NCUA. By Ram Trucks. Built to serve. By Chick-fil-A Nuggets. Tonight is Nugget Night. And by the U.S. Army. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
Picturesque Mikey Stadium. Great to have you with us with Jay Feely. My name is Ben Holden. All of our crew. Just the 6th all-time meeting between these two teams. Army looking to even things up, and first 2 possessions very Army-like, Jay.
Yeah, 128 yards rushing, averaging 4.7 per rush. Haven't attempted a pass yet.
Cam Thomas, first career start. Calvin Hopkins unavailable to go today. Now Walker Koenig, first one to greet him, and then a host of white shirts come in to help finish Walker off. Let's get down to Tina for some injury updates. Tina, what do you have?
Ben, starting on the Miami sideline, Darius Thompson was taken back to be evaluated and get some tests. It was either fibia, ankle. They're checking all of that out. No official word yet on his return. I'll tell you what, it doesn't look good, though. And as for Army, Gavin Bassett had a hyperextended knee. He was also taken back to the locker room for to be evaluated.
Thank you. After a pickup of a yard, 2nd and 9. Thomas. There's the pitch into the hands of Asbury. Jordan Asbury's got the first down and then some. Takes the ball out to the 37s where they're going to spot him. Army looking to, you know what their game plan is here, Jay, with 6:45 left.
Number 5 of Army must leave for a play due to illegal equipment.
A good job there by Cam Thomas. As he comes around the corner, waiting, sucking that defense in. Finally, they have to collapse to him. And at the right moment, then getting a nice little pitch outside to Asbury, picking up the first down. Very effective so far. Hasn't fumbled the ball. Has looked good out there running this triple option offense. And I think Brent Davis is doing a good job of putting him in situations where he'll succeed.
Yep. And timeout taken by Army.
30-second timeout, Army.
Their
This
first
is their first timeout of the half.
Of the day, and we'll talk things over with 6:14 remaining in the second quarter. While we got an opportunity, I want to remind you to join our Tops crew bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 Eastern as they get you ready for another jam-packed day of the NFL. Don't miss the unmatched analysis and bold predictions from our football experts on that other pregame show right here on CBS Sports Network, presented by Kubota.
Cam Thomas didn't like something that he saw with that defense. Calls the timeout, go over. You know, when you're starting your first game, you have a lead, you're running the ball well. That's a good decision. There's 6:14 left in the first half here. If you don't see something, you're uncomfortable, just call the timeout, come back to the sideline, talk it over.
Kelvin Hopkins sitting this one out. Down on the sidelines. 30th play from scrimmage, and number 33 makes it another run. All runs, he takes it to the 41.
We were surprised when we got here to find out that Calvin Hopkins wasn't going to play. Obviously, Miami was surprised as well.
I'm sure they were.
Because when you watch the San Jose State game, Calvin Hopkins gets hurt, goes out for a little bit, comes back in, and then finishes the game and plays really well. So you didn't think that he was going to miss this game, but you know, you come back. A lot of times after you get hurt in a game, the adrenaline's pumping, everything's going, you feel good, and then you settle down afterwards and it gets real tight, and that's what happened with Calvin Hopkins.
2nd and 6, Davidson the fullback. Cam Thomas, good job to sidestep one man. Koenig in there to get him around the ankle. So with 11:39 remaining in the first quarter last week at Levi Stadium against San Jose State, he gets hit by Jonathan Leonard. And he goes out, and they take him to the tent, Jay. Came back in, as you mentioned, with 4:14 left and stayed in until the fourth quarter when things were well out of hand.
Yeah, that was a big hit he took. And when you're the quarterback of this Army team running the triple option, you're going to get a lot of big hits.
You take them.
You have to be physical. You have to be tough. You have to play through injuries. And Calvin Hopkins has done a good job throughout the year doing that.
Army 4 of 6 on 3rd down. Toss, Walker, and Walker close, but he's going to be a yard short as Pasquale Calcagno, one of my favorite names, makes the tackle.
And there's no question they're going for it. They know they're going to go for it.
Miami knows.
It's a different mindset defensively when you play Army, because you have to go in understanding they're going to go for it on 4th down. You know, most defenses like, hey, let's win this battle. First 3 downs, force them to punt.
Stop them.
Not going to happen with Army. You know, if it's 4th and 2 or less, they're going for it. I mean, even all the way back to their own 20-yard line, they're going to go for it.
Yep. They are 2 for 2 today. Came in at 90.5% leading the country on 4th down. Can they make it 3 for 3? Woolfolk, get back! Darnell Woolfolk powering his way to the Miami 40. Move the sticks, and it's another Army first down. Tackle made by Weatherford.
When they've been in 4th down situations, all 3 times, fullback dives right up the middle. Just power football. Good job by that offensive line, sealing them off on the backside. It's what they've done on 4th down. It's what they've done on the goal line.
Yep, gain of 14, and look at the pile. The pile, as there's a flag on the far side at the 36. 3:45 remaining as Amanda Sauer-Cook, our referee, will give us the word.
Sideline warning, Miami.
So the flag picked up. Jeff Monken coaching against his former college teammate, Chuck Martin. Good friends, we're good teammates.
I thought the story about him kicking Monken's hand was hilarious.
I mean, both coaches had their own side, and they were both great. Chuck Martin said, look, we were a D3, and we weren't even average. But the one, we'll get into that in a minute after the play. Darnell Woolfolk continues to power ahead. He's got another first down as Koenig stopped him, but it was well beyond the first down marker. So there's Jeff Monken, number 3, Chuck Martin in there as well. Monken was a wide receiver, ran track. Martin was a safety and the place kicker. And so the story goes.
He said, I was a safety. I go, and kicker.
Of course.
He goes, yes, Jay, yes, and kicker.
Yes, I said, Jay will make sure that gets in.
Right.
Rightfully so, though. But so Jeff tells us yesterday about the story. He said, yeah, he kicked my hand once. Kicked my hand, kicked the ball, went through. Had some fun with that. Army having fun right now on offense. Darnell Woolfolk takes it to the 18-yard line, so the Black Knights back inside of the red zone here as we come up on 2.5 to play.
This has been a very conservative game plan for Brent Davis. A lot of power football, fullback dives here, just giving Woolfolk. He's got 9 for 48 yards, continuing to pound the ball inside and then allow Cam Thomas to get outside, not have to do a lot of thinking. Number of quarterback sweeps, just allowing Cam Thomas to be comfortable and confident going into every play.
Darnell Woolfolk averaging 5.3 a carry, 10 rushes for 53. Picked up 5 on the last run. Play clock down to 2 and 1. They get it off. Connor Slumka. Good job on the Miami defensive front there. Costin and company doing the job there. They got to do it again here at least one more time, probably twice.
Probably twice, yeah. That's right.
So Miami takes timeout.
Miami. This is their first timeout of the half.
With 1:44 left in the half, this is about the next series, the next possession. Trying to allow them to have time.
1 minute and 47 seconds. Thank you.
Well, they're going to add a little time to the clock. You heard there. It's a full timeout, so we'll step aside as well. Less than 2 to go until halftime. None other than former Army quarterback Trent Steeland back in 2011. 24 rushes, 99 yards, had 2 touchdowns on the ground.
The game clock to 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Was 8 for 8, throwing it for a season-high 124 yards and had a 45-yard touchdown pass, a career best for Steelman. And that is our Exchange Armed Forces look back today here on Armed Forces Weekend with 1:44 to go until halftime. Army up by 7. And they are inside of the red zone trying to add to it. The time of possession, there are the particulars thus far.
Army's averaging 5 yards per carry today. That's right at their average, 4.8 per rush.
The game clock to 1 minute, 47 seconds. Thank you. 1 minute and 47 seconds on the game clock.
I mean, she's asked nicely.
That's right.
So there, the clock reset. Current drive, 10 plays, 59 yards. Big 3rd and 3.
Watch these 2 linebackers. They got 18 tackles between the 2 of them here.
Thomas keeps it, finds it open. Cam Thomas! And thought he was going to take that in, but Sterling Weatherford made a sterling play to save a touchdown there on him.
And Miles Reed was unblocked, coming from the backside. Should have shot the gap right there, made the play. Nice little pick from Bryce Holland, the center, kind of kept Reed from getting in there. Cam Thomas does a good job accelerating. You've seen a number of times the quickness and the speed that he has. I've been impressed. He's done a very good job so far. Ahmad Bradshaw, as good as he was for this Army team, he struggled running this offense and not fumbling the ball when he first started.
He did. Took some time to get him used to it. Here's Woolfolk trying to find the end zone again. And he is denied as Koenig's in there once again, man. I'm telling you, this guy makes play after play.
He's got 11 tackles already in the first half.
That's a game for most.
He's a guy who was not recruited at all, coming out of Ann Arbor. Walked on here at Miami and has become an excellent player. Just a very instinctual player, understands the game, knows where to go.
So now with over 250 career tackles in his career, that's tops on Miami's team. 2nd and goal now. Thomas, clock winding down to half a minute left in the half. Cam Thomas, there's Koenig again with his 12th tackle of the day. Army's got 2 timeouts.
We knew these linebackers were going to have a big day.
Yeah.
They're bringing their safeties down and playing with 2 inverts. So they're on the outside. Those safeties are coming up and keep it contained. Funneling everything, trying to funnel everything to the middle to those 2 linebackers.
30-second timeout, Army.
Monken takes one.
Down to 12 seconds. You want to get 2 more plays here. It's a good job by Jeff getting a timeout there. He's got another one, so you can run it here. You haven't thrown the ball yet. You can run the ball here, probably to your fullback. That's what you've done when you've come down and been inside the 5-yard line and got a couple touchdowns with Woolfolk and Davidson.
We got a chance while both coaches talk things over. Coming up on the halftime report, powered by Ram Trucks. Adam Zucker, Rick Neuheisel, and Brian Jones will get you caught up on all of today's college football action. That's all coming up next on the halftime report, powered by Ram, from our studio in New York City. When they run this next play, Jay, it'll be the 14th play of the drive. First touchdown drive, 12 plays for Army. Second one, 15 plays. Doing what they do as good as anyone in the country, running the ball and keeping it out of the other team's hands.
It's always amazing when you watch this offense and how effective it is, and you think they haven't thrown the ball. You know they're going to run the ball every play, and you can't stop it. Darnell Woolfolk is in there at fullback.
3rd and goal. Woolfolk gets it. Canyon Reserve got a piece. He leans, and he's going to be short. And the timeout.
Timeout again,
Yep, they get the timeout with 6 seconds remaining. So you're going to have 4th and goal upcoming.
Army. This is their last timeout.
You kick it?
This is an interesting decision.
Or do you go for it?
I go for it here.
Okay.
You trust your offense.
I think he agrees.
He's a little fired up right now. He wanted to score there on 3rd down. But you have a yard to go. Your offense does not give up tackles for a loss.
Right.
They don't give up sacks either. You know, only 2 on the year for Army sack-wise. But tackles for loss is what you're talking about here, because you're not going to throw the ball. You haven't done it all half. You're going to run the ball. And you come here right now, Jeff Monken's telling his offensive line, we're going to go for it. We're running behind you. It's your job to come off, to explode, and to get this ball in the end zone.
Chuck Martin's guys trying to come up with a stop here in the shadow of their own goal post. We look back at that 3rd and goal play here, Jay.
It's a good stop. Look at Koenig right there. I talked about being instinctual. He sees it. He kind of moves to the right around the potential block and then comes in there and then makes a solid tackle.
This pains me to say on this day, but he did go to high school right across from the big house at Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor. Here we go with 4th down, 4th and goal, 15th play of the drive.
Penalty.
Flags in the end zone. We'll get the verdict from Amanda Sauer-Cook.
I thought maybe Miami was going to take a timeout.
Substitution infraction, defense. Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
So that half the distance is maybe 3 inches. Not much at all.
The nose of the football.
If Calvin Hopkins was in there, I would think they'd do a quarterback dive right here, just a quarterback sneak. They might do that with Cam Thomas as well. I think they'd give it off to Woolfolk, trust him with that ball security.
I would as well. 4th down. Woolfolk met at the line. And they get in there. Was that Koenig again? Oh, my goodness. What a play by Brad Koenig to stop that man and that mass of humanity coming at you. And Miami makes the stand.
Huge stop right there in the middle of your screen, 38, unblocked, and then just comes up, and then the power, you don't see that very often. The ability of somebody to stop Woolfolk when he's got a head of steam. And what an excellent job by Brad Koenig. The half that he's had has been amazing. The ability to get the stop right there was so critical to this team. You know, you think about what the difference is when you go in when it's 14-7 versus 21-7.
Yeah. And Davis's reaction. And Army stopped. So Miami, who got the ball to begin the game, Army will receive the second half kickoff. And they had to be careful there. They had to make sure they got out of there, and they do.
That is the end of the first half.
That man, Brad Koenig, has kept them in the game.
Yes.
13 tackles in the first half. A goal line stand, 3 tackles on that series right there. Those 4 downs. An excellent job by Brad Koenig, and he keeps his team in it.
Flexing his muscles in a big way. That's the end of the first half with the score. Army 14, Miami 7. Stay tuned for the halftime report powered by Ram Trucks with Adam Zucker, Rick Neuheisel, and Brian Jones. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Armed Forces Weekend continues. Air Force One last night on our air. Navy comes up when we're done right now. Army on top of the visitors from Oxford, Ohio, the RedHawks of Miami, 14-7. Jay Feely, Ben Holden, great to see you. Always a pleasure and an honor to be with you. Jay, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, Army ran the ball very effectively, over 200 yards rushing, 5 yards a carry. Cam Thomas effective. This is his first game starting. Didn't turn the ball over. Jeff Monken said he was most worried about the exchanges. Been perfect on the exchanges. But Miami, Ohio gets a goal line stand right at the end of the half to keep Army from going up 21-7 and keep them in this game. And they can thank their linebacker, Brad Koenig, for that 13 tackles and 3 critical ones right at the end of the half.
And Miles Reed piling them up, too, in the linebacker
8 tackles
spot.
as well.
Yeah, speaking of exchange, first half stats brought to us by Your Exchange. What grabs your eyes the most from that?
Well, right there. 23 minutes time of possession for Army. They're leading the country. They did it right there. You know, Miami had one good drive. They threw the ball, hit Young on a nice little swing pass, but for the most part, you know, it's been all Army's offense running the ball.
It has, and they do it as good as anybody in the country. Led the country last year, second in the nation running the ball. Here's a look at their work in half number 1, Jay.
That was a reverse to Kel Walker, gets outside. They did that a couple of times. Most of it has been inside. The thing that I noticed was, normally it's this triple option attack where they go to the fullback. If they get the right read, they'll pull it and go down the line. Not once did Cam Thomas put the ball into the belly of the fullback and then pull it back out. Every time he went in there, he handed it off.
Yep.
When he ran the ball, it was him keeping it, not putting it into the fullback's belly and running outside. It's an adjustment by Brent Davis to make it a little bit easier for his new quarterback.
Simplifying things in his first career start for Cam Thomas, as it's booted away and through the end zone by Sam Sloman. Let's get down to Tina, who's got updates from both sides. Tina, what can you tell us?
Well, Coach Jeff Monken was absolutely livid at the end of the first half. We were talking right at the goal line. He said to me, we had the ball right here, and he got on his knees and he pointed to the very edge of the goal line and said, and we couldn't get it across. He did say, though, Cam Thompson is doing okay, though. He's doing the best that he can. As for Chuck Martin on Brad Koenig, he said he's a fifth-year senior and has never played against the triple option. He's so proud of his team after only preparing to see this offense for 1 week of practice. He said offensively we've had 3 possessions and scored on 1. He's hoping that stop is a momentum changer.
I'm sure he is. Thanks so much, Tina. Ball on the deck, but Asbury there. Walker may have been down anyhow, but Army gets it back, and they'll lose a yard or so on the first play of the third quarter, Jay.
It had potential to be a really big run. Watch Kel Walker. He's going to get around the edge, and he just trips. Right there, gets caught on the guard's foot, trips, and fumbles that ball.
Guess who knocked it out? Koenig.
There you go.
Man. So Army maintains possession. They lose a yard. 2nd and 11. Davidson, the fullback. Here's Cam Thomas. They read that. Beautiful job again by Koenig in there, making the solo stop.
He is understanding this offense so well. It's such a feel. You heard Tina talk about it. Chuck Martin, only a week to get ready.
Yeah.
His team has never played a triple option. Not him, but these players haven't seen a triple option. So you have to forget about everything you've done defensively, everything you've coached and taught, all your fundamentals, and you have to create a new defense. It's so tough. And Brad Koenig understanding it and then making plays.
He said to us, we don't want to be their scout team and let them short-circuit the scoreboard. We want to take this challenge, a huge challenge it is, head on, as Davidson with a carry there. Costin on the stop for the RedHawk defense, and there's Brad Koenig, who's on his way to a 20 tackle. There's some pretty good linebackers in the Mid-American Conference, and he's one of them.
Yeah, we saw Khalil Hodge. He's an excellent linebacker at Buffalo.
Yeah.
They finally force Army to punt. First punt of the game. Schraig's having a great year, averaging 50 yards a punt.
It's probably that autographed football he's got from you that he told you about today. That's good. I like when
those. That was going way back.
That was way back. What, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
In your Dolphins days. Here he is. Booms it. Sorensen back there. Makes the fair catch right at the 20-yard line. Good kick.
Right at his average, 50-yard punt. Excellent job by Schraig. But Miami got the stop before the half. Now they got the ball.
As one smart young man. Here's his schedule. Did you get up at 6:15 today or not? How early were you up?
I got up at 7.
I got up about 7:30, but that's his day.
Every day.
But wait, there's more.
That's right.
I mean, it is a grind here. As the players we met with yesterday, Schufert, Nautigal, and Kel Walker, they all said, man, it's a grind. And Kenneth Brinson is a candidate for the Campbell Trophy. It goes to the best football scholar athlete in the country. He has a 3.9 GPA in chemical engineering. He's a smart young man. Here goes Miami into the hands of Kenny Young. Has their touchdown, a 34-yard reception on a wheel route in the first half. As he slipped by Max Regan, I believe it was.
Gus Ragland started slow, 1 for 5, 3 for 3 on that touchdown drive. They need to continue to push the ball down the field, take some shots, try to fade early. Robinson wasn't able to come down with it. They need to go back to that.
Yeah, that first possession, right?
Exactly.
They went to him, yeah. Jalen Bester in the backfield next to Ragland. Ragland loads, fires, got it, man, and it is simply dropped. Sorensen had it right in his hands, might have heard footsteps. 3rd and 6 coming up.
Well, it's an excellent play. They run Sorensen across. You're going to see him come all the way across there, and he's wide open. Ball's a little behind, but that's an easy catch for him. And Sorensen has got 27 receptions on the year, should have had 28.
And Jones was the closest to him. 3rd and 6, RedHawks. 25% in that department, 1 out of 4.
Like to go to their tight ends here, Ben, in the seam.
Pressure coming, Ragland unloads, gets rid of it, catch made, it's a first down. Sorensen catches this one and gets a big gain for the RedHawks to the 45-yard line. So Ragland and the RedHawks move the sticks. 1st and 10, Miami.
Dominique Robinson was lucky not to pick up a block in the back right here at the end of this play. Army coaches were yelling for it. A nice little switch route to get him open.
21-yard pickup. Kenny Young's got it. Takes on the defender head on, and that was Cam Jones, who had a big week last week. Makes a good play there, a gain of just a yard.
Starting in replace of James Gibson, who had a concussion, is out. Kenny Young, only 5'7", but he's powerful.
Cam Jones last week, career high 7 tackles, a sack, 2 TFLs. Tackles for loss and a forced fumble in the 3rd quarter. Young on the sidelines. 2nd and 9, Miami. Bester's got the ball. About a yard and a half. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
That was one of those keys that I talked about in the first half that Jay Bateman was watching. Anytime Nate Becker resets and comes back into the backfield, they love to run right behind him. They bring him back into the backfield and then lead with him. When Jay Bateman feels like he has an understanding of what you do formation-wise, then he can scheme his defense and his blitz into that play. That's what he did there. That's what he did real successfully last week against San Jose.
3rd and 7. RedHawks need the Army 45 to convert. Ragland, plenty of green grass, makes a move, trying to get there, leans and gets bent back pretty hard.
I think it's just short. He put his shoulder down, and it did a good job of trying to get it. But Army rallied to the ball. It's kind of the same play Ragland ran on 4th down in the first half and didn't get it.
Shot block, offense, number 52 and number 53. 15-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
So Jordan Rigg is number 52.
Correction, number 3 and not 53.
And Kenny Young, the 2 guilty ones here, Jay.
Well, right there, you're going to see 52.
Jordan Rigg.
He's engaged, and Kenny Young kind of goes low. Anytime there's any contact with an offensive lineman up top and somebody else goes low, they're going to throw it. It wasn't egregious, but it's still the rule. Army has had a number of shot block penalties, especially with the new rule this year. They've done a much better job the last 4 weeks of not getting those penalties, struggled early.
Now 3rd and a mile, they need 23 to convert. Still needing the 45 of Army. Ragland just throws it into the ground, nobody open. Nearest to it there was Jalen Bester.
They try to go for a screen. That's a common play when it's 3rd and long. I feel like you should have been aggressive there. You have a couple of receivers who are 6'4" and 6'5". Throw it up deep on the outside and allow them to try and go up and make a play. That's what you did to Dominique Robinson on the second play of the game. I thought he made the catch. It was called incomplete. But why not go back to that? Why not try to go to one of your big receivers who's got 4 or 5 inch height advantage?
Kyle Kramer on to punt. First punt was 40. Army bringing the house. Davidson, who's got a punt block in his career, got in there. And this is a very good punt, as it turns out, for Kyle Kramer. With 10:02 remaining in the third. Army getting it back. They come up with a stop, leading by 7 here at Michie Stadium. 92. Army was down twice in this game by 17 points. Patman Malcolm, a 49-yard field goal with 12 seconds to go, would get the job done. The Cadets won 25-24, and it tied the series at 43 wins apiece. Those are the 2 most famous words on post here at West Point. Only 49 days to go in the countdown to America's game, the Army-Navy game, presented by USAA on CBS Sports.
How cool is that to get a game winner in your rivalry game, Army-Navy? Navy had a chance last year to hit a game winner and missed it. Army's got 2 wins in a row against Navy.
So Ohio State, did you ever get a game winner against them?
Did.
Michigan State?
Field goals, nope.
You guys were beating them to smithereens back in those days.
That game's delayed today.
Knew one of us was going to bring it up. And on the ground, Army, stop made by Mike Braun. There's Cam Thomas. So in a perfect world, if you're Brent Davis and Jeff Monken, what you want to do here is chew up as much of this third quarter as you can with a drive.
Miami has looked better, though, here. They got the stop at the end of the half, the goal line stand. They come out, they get a stop on the first series of the second half, a nice stop there. And I think they're getting a feel for what Army's trying to do with Cam Thomas. At some point, you know, they have 0 pass attempts. You're going to have to go play action and try to hit somebody.
16 rushes for Thomas. Hands up here, and it's Woolfolk. Darnell Woolfolk was stopped at the goal line. And Sterling Weatherford made the stop there, as Costin thought he had a touchdown, but it was blown dead. What a play on that drive by Kane. What, he had 3 stops on that drive, right? When they were inside the 5 or down?
3 stops inside the 10-yard line, including the goal, the one on 4th down right on the goal line.
So 3rd and 5 here now. Critical one for Army. Don't want to give it back to Miami. Well, it wouldn't be a short field, but keep this ball, and they want to keep it moving if they can. Thomas, there's the pitch behind Walker. Good job by Kel Walker. Got the first down, and then some as they move the sticks. Bart Barotti forced him out of bounds there, but it's a first down. Black Knights.
That's where the success has been, when they've been able to get the ball outside on the perimeter. A little counter option. And then you said it, a good job at Kel Walker reaching back and getting it while still continuing downfield. If he stops his momentum to gather it, he doesn't get that first down. A good job. Reach back, get it, and get the first down for Kel Walker.
Picked up 8, did Walker. There it is, Jay. There's the shot. Thomas throws, and it's tipped away. Barotti again, who just forced the last play out of bounds. They were looking at Jordan Asbury. And it's 2nd and 10.
Originally, he looks to Kel Walker. Watch him now look to his left as he comes out. He looks for Kel Walker, then he comes back to Asbury down the middle. Miami did a good job covering that. Really nowhere to go with that ball.
And the pass breakup credited to Barotti, and that's his first career pass attempt in 49 plays. So now a 2nd and 10 facing the offense.
I watched Cam Thomas throw before the game, and let's just say that he has to focus on throwing the ball. He was very meticulous in particular when he's out there. Definitely more natural running.
He is on the toss. The pursuit is there. Miami, like you said, man, they have figured it out. Stepping up, making plays. They're getting the job done as Ben Kimpler, the 6'5" defensive lineman, made the stop there.
They're putting 10 men in the box. Army tried to get it outside onto the perimeter where they've had success. Rallying to the ball for Miami.
So 3rd and 11. 7.5 to go in the third quarter.
4 wide here for Army.
Thomas Tucking it, trying to get away, and he just got tripped up. Guess who got him? Brad Koenig with another big play, number 38 in white.
They go 4 wide with 4 receivers. It's just a quarterback draw. Go shotgun.
Injury timeout on the field.
And Cam Thomas is going to wait a second and then just run that quarterback draw up the middle, and you're going to see a shoelace tackle that saves a possible touchdown.
Yeah.
Right there, just coming back across and gets the tackle.
Whew.
He has been all over, saving the day for Miami.
You are not kidding, man. He has been all over the place. Bart Barotti is the injured RedHawk down, being tended to by their training staff. 6'1", 202-pound junior out of Spring, Texas. Is their most valuable walk-on last year, and now seeing a lot of playing time in that linebacking core. And Junior McMullen is out, their normal starting middle linebacker, so Barotti seeing a little more time as some guys were shifting around, and that's a good sign to see him getting up under his own power. And they'll take him over and check him out on the sidelines. So 4th and 5 upcoming, but we look back at the play first.
Well, I just want you to watch. Here's Brad Koenig, number 38.
Yep.
Right, we've been talking him.
Yes.
Watch now. Army's going to try to come up and block him right here. He fights through the block of Holland right there, sees it, and then just gets a little tackle, a piece of his foot, and saves a possible touchdown. Saved the first down for sure, and a possible touchdown. I mean, he's got 18 tackles all over the field. Every time they need a play, he's making that play.
Khalil Hodge, we mentioned him earlier from Buffalo when Army went up there and stampeded the Bulls. Their only loss to this point. He had 20 tackles that day, having to play the same role basically.
Koenig's had a big year. Came in with 46 tackles. Now he's got 64 on the year. A couple of forced fumbles, 3 interceptions.
Here's Schrag. Not his best work. Had a 49-yard punt his first time. His second one goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Only a 27-yard punt by Schrag. Miami's
some famous Miami alums. They've got a bunch. John Harbaugh, Ben Roethlisberger, and how about the last guy? Sean McVay. All he's doing is leading his team, the youngest coach in the NFL, to a 6-0 start.
They look really, really good on both sides of the ball, especially on offense. Jared Goff understanding this offense. They scheme so well, as good or better than anybody in the NFL.
So Miami, they stop Army. They get it back with a chance to take it down and potentially tie the game. Ragland's 5 of 11 for 82 in the touchdown. 34 yards in the first half. The Kenny Young throws a bullet here. Down low to get it was Jalen Walker. They'll move the sticks. So Gus Ragland, 5th-year senior, an 11-yard pickup there.
Started as a Wildcat quarterback.
Yeah.
He got some time, come in, run the ball, but has really developed into an effective passer.
Try and put it up again is Ragland, and does. Got a man wide open, and he missed Kenny Young, who was wide open. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Very similar play the other way than the first half. Right there, and he's just going to run another wheel route. Again, Army does a poor job recognizing him, and he's wide open.
Oh, is he ever?
And Ragland just overthrows him. If he leads him to the seam instead of throwing it outside and throws it where he can catch it, it's another touchdown.
Certainly looked that way. Ragland's numbers there on our eye bar. 2nd and 10. 6 to play in this 3rd quarter. Keeping on the ground that time is Maurice Thomas with the carry. 3rd down coming up. 3rd and about 8. Well, we got a chance. Want to remind you, Armed Forces Football is proudly sponsored by USAA today.
Such a big miss by Ragland on that play. That's exactly. They say we've got to run the ball and hit play action. You get your running back exactly where you want him in space. You have the potential for a big play to tie the game, and then you don't do it. Now you got to try to come back.
Miami 2 of 6 on 3rd down. Yep, you got it.
Jack Sorensen, 13.
Okay.
False start. Offense. Number 13. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Just inexcusable. Had a drop earlier. He's right there in the slot. You see him move early. And as a receiver, that's a cardinal sin. You're not going on the call. You're not going on anything audible. You're just watching the ball. You can't afford to make those mistakes. You miss a wide open running back. Now you back yourself up into 3rd and long.
They need 13. They need the 39 of Army to convert. 4th Miami penalty for 25 yards. Army, no penalties in the game to this point. Play clock down.
Up top.
Yep, and he's swinging out to Young, trying to let him make a play in space. But Army is there. Good work there. And the coverage there was Cameron Jones, number 20.
It's exactly what they did last time on 3rd and long. Threw a little screen. You and I both didn't like it. You know,
Right.
You said you were going to come in and be aggressive.
Be aggressive. Take
so
a shot.
Take a shot down the field. You know Army's defense is very good at rallying to the ball. So they're going to let you catch a little swing, a little screen, and come rally and stop it and force you to punt. Why do that? Be aggressive. You got height on the outside of the receivers. You got 2 guys, 6'4" and 6'5". Throw them a fade. Throw a back shoulder fade. Allow them to try and make a play.
Yeah, you got Mayock, who's 6'5". And then the 2 guys you're referring to, Robinson 6'4" and Gentry Madera 6'4", as this one goes into the end zone. We'll take a timeout. 4:31 to play in the 3rd here at Michie. Good one between Army and Miami.
I was inspired to serve by my dad growing up, watching the military channel with him when I was a kid. So the military was always held a special place in my heart. And when I had the opportunity to come here and play football, as well as develop into an officer and one day serve in the Army, it was a no-brainer for me.
Our Mercedes-Benz player profile today, the senior center Bryce Holland out of Chandler, Arizona. Team captain, 31st consecutive start. He's been a rock in the middle for the last few years for Brent Davis and that offensive group. And something you noticed on the last Army offensive possession with him.
Well, it was 3rd down. They run a quarterback draw. And we saw Kane get across Holland's block and go make the play and get the stop, force the punt. But in the past, Holland would have come up and thrown a cut block there, and it's a huge gain. But with the new rule, they're very hesitant. They got called a number of times. Holland got called in the first few games 2 or 3 times. And so we talked about that, Jeff Monken, and how it's affected this offense, because now if you're a yard down the field, you can't throw cut blocks at all from the side. You have to be from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock
straight on.
Straight on. And that impacts these triple option teams so much more so than any of the other teams in college football.
No question. You gotta learn almost learn your position over in many ways, right?
Yeah, they've had to teach new concepts, teach a new way. You know, it's impacted everything that they do.
So Army, this will be their 11th play of the quarter. Thomas has it, breaks away. Cam Thomas with those wheels still going, and is taken down inside of the 25 by Mike Brown. First down, Army. $52 yards on the run, Jay.
They had gone away from the triple option where they put it into the fullback's belly all first half. Every time they put it in there, he handed it off. Finally, they go back to it. They put it in there, the defense collapses because that's what they've been seeing. He pulls it back out. That's the true triple option there. Big, huge game for Army.
No question about it. 18 carries for 127 for Thomas. And Darnell Woolfolk, the workhorse, back in there at the fullback spot.
Brent Davis had tried to simplify things for his quarterback. You got a new starter. Try not to do too much. So, you know, give it to the fullback, give it to the fullback, and then if you want your quarterback to run it, allow him just to keep it and run it. But he knew things are getting too predictable. We have to do something different. He goes to the true triple option, puts it into the belly, pulls it back. Huge gain. Now Army's in business.
First career start for Cam Thomas, his first career 100-yard game, of course. Performing very well here today. Koenig with another tackle. Is he at 20 yet?
Koenig's at 19. That's his 20th tackle.
Wow.
Cam Thomas now, he's got 18 rushes, 127 yards, 7 yards a carry. And the key is he hasn't put the ball on the ground. They had one fumble. That was Kel Walker when he tripped.
Recovered by Asbury.
Yeah, that's what Jeff Monken told us. I'm most concerned with the exchanges, and that's why you saw them try to not do too many mesh points with him.
First down. Up the gut. Gang tackled there. Brown in there leading the charge. Koenig in there as well on big Darnell Woolfolk. He gave it to him 21 times in that heartbreaker they lost in Norman, Oklahoma that day. He can take it. He can pound it. He's going to get a breather here as Davidson checks in now for him. 2nd and 6 upcoming. Army approaching 300 yards on the ground. They're averaging 313 and a half a game. Number 2 in the nation entering play today. 2nd and 6. Davidson. They knew that play was coming. Miles Reed was right in the backfield waiting for him. He's played really good too.
He has played really well. Both of these linebackers have been excellent. Reed's got 8 tackles. Right here, he's going to just shoot the gap right there. Miles Reed playing for the injured Junior McCullen. Green and Koenig, that's who's been the playmakers for this defense. Very simple philosophy, but allow them to be aggressive. Same defense the entire game. That's what Chuck Martin told us.
Army 6 of 12 on 3rd down, and Davidson, Andy Davidson, was sniffing for the goal line, and he's got it. 1st and goal, Army. They've been here before, though, inside of the 5-yard line, almost to the 1.
3rd and 6. So if you get a stop there for no gain, you force Army to kick a field goal. You know, if they were 4th and 1 or 2, they're going to go for it. They got a goal line stand at the end of the first half. Can they do it again?
Right.
1st and goal from the 1? That's tough. A team that's averaging 5 yards a carry.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter winding down. 15 and counting. 4th trip to the red zone for Army. They've got 2 touchdowns, making 3 as Cam Thomas takes it in for his 2nd rushing touchdown. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 1 in each game, and he puts Army up 20-7 as the Cannons let fly here at West Point.
Cam Thomas, just a little quarterback sweep. Excellent job on the right side of that offense. Hunter, Reeder, Holland sealing it off. Cam Thomas basically going in untouched.
And you mentioned it earlier. I'll bring it up again for those that weren't with us, that the offense saying to that offensive line this week when they knew that Hopkins wouldn't go, as Abercrombie knocks it through. It's on you guys. You got to step up.
The big hogs up front. We're going to ride where you guys take us. They're taking them into the end zone.
So after the touchdown, Cam Thomas, who's the first guy to greet him, Jay? Calvin Hopkins there. 1-yard touchdown run, capped an 8-play, 80-yard drive, 4:23. The big play was Cam Thomas, the 52-yard run, as he's got 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks on the ground.
When you look at the progression of this program under Jeff Monken and his coordinators, Brent Davis and Jay Bateman, you know, they go 4-8 their first year, and then 2-10 the first year I was doing games.
Yep.
38 fumbles. They lost 13 of them. Then they go 8-5. Then 10-3. You know, now they're cruising at 4-2. They got a lead here. What impresses you and I most is that they have depth.
They do now.
You know, that if you lose a guy, it doesn't destroy you. You lose your quarterback. You have another guy who can step in and run this offense effectively. You lose a safety in James Gibson on defense. You have a guy who can step in. In the past, if they lost guys like that, decimated them. That's right.
It did. It did. And a credit to all the staff. Not just the coach and the coordinators, but all those that go out on the recruiting trail, because they've really blazed some new trails in that regard. Kids are wanting to come here and attend the academy and play. Here's Maurice Thomas, who had a 45-yard return earlier, takes it out there for Miami.
And it's not easy to get a young man to come here because they know what the commitment is. They know how hard it is.
Yep. End of the 3rd. Army on top, 21-7 here against Miami. Brent Davis fired up, the offensive coordinator. We'll be back to West Point after these messages. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. Between number 21 USF followed by Mountain West Showdown when San Diego State hosts San Jose State at 10:30. It's only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Remaining undefeateds, including USF, Jay.
Cincinnati's tied with Temple right now. Those two could be on a collision course to the end of the year when they play each other. I could see them both being undefeated. And you tell me this, Ben, if UCF has another season where they go undefeated, 2 years in a row, they got the longest win streak in the country. How do they not get in? They beat Auburn in their bowl game. How do they not get in? And I don't think they will.
I don't either.
But it's not right.
You got to get 8 teams. 21-7. Army on top. 1st and 10. Miami going back to work. Cam Jones there on the back of the ball carrier. Jalen Bester. Speaking of UCF, here's your Heisman list as of today, Feely.
Well, it's a lot different than the bottom 2 than everybody else. Everybody's got Tua and Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State. Most people have Kyler Murray. Mackenzie Milton has better numbers than Kyler Murray, and he's got an 18-game win streak.
Right.
And then everyone has the Colorado receiver, but John Ursua, who we had in Hawaii, he's got more receptions, more yards, more touchdowns, leading the country in all 3. So if you're going to have a receiver, why not you have the best receiver as far as numbers go in the country?
Yeah. I like the pick. Here's Ragland. Sings it up, and it'll be a little bit short cut by Robinson. That's the first time they went back to him since the first drive of the game for Miami.
Yeah, and I just think they've been too conservative, especially on those 2 third and long plays. You can't give the ball back to Army. If you run these little screens and draws, you're kind of giving up. Army comes up, makes tackles, you give them the ball back, and now you're down 21-7.
Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. 3rd and a yard for Miami. Homer into motion there. They hand off to Kenny Young, trying to get it there, and around the ankles. McClinton had him.
I think he's just short. I think you got to go for it.
Yeah, I think you're right on both fronts.
Yeah, even though you're inside your own 30, that was, again, one of those formations where Jay Bateman feels like he's got a good read. He brings a run blitz right into where Miami's trying to run the ball.
Measurement on the field.
Here at Amanda Sauer-Cook, they're going to bring the sticks out and measure it.
I think it's going to be about 3-4 inches short. You just can't give the ball. If they're short right here and you're Chuck Martin, you can't give the ball back to Army. You might not get it back until 5 minutes left in the game.
Exactly. About a football.
Down.
A few inches short.
He's going for it.
He told us we're not coming here
to be the scout team.
To be the scout team. We're coming here. We're going to be aggressive.
Well, we'll see what they do here on this play call. An aggressive one in his own territory. At the 27.5-yard line, they're 1 of 2 on 4th down today. 2 tight ends.
Let's go quarterback sneak here with Ragland.
And Ragland getting a push. Mayock behind him. And they should have it. Needed the 28-yard line there. Still in honor of late Army cornerback Brandon Jackson.
It's been tough running the ball today for Miami. Only 55 yards rushing. They wanted to come in and run the ball. They knew that it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
Jay Bateman does an excellent job. Even though they played Oklahoma and Buffalo, the best team, one of the best teams in the MAC, and Hawaii and their high-flying offense, only giving up 111 yards per game on the ground.
They should have this by a football now, and they do. You saw Chuck Martin's reaction, like, come on, we got it. But they got to measure, so they do that, and it's a first down for Miami. 2 former teammates. A lot of people from Millikan University, where the 2 head coaches attended, in attendance here today. Proud of their former student athletes, now head coaches leading their respective programs. So a big get there for Miami. Bester the motion man. They fake to him. Ragland swings it out. Bester gets it. He's got wheels, dives, and has got the first down to the 40-yard line.
I like that play there. They run it like it's going to go to Kenny Young on a wheel route, and so that's where the defense goes. There's Kenny Young. He's coming out, and they run a fake jet sweep and then throw it back to him. And Kenny Young kind of cleared everybody out and opened it up.
And a 12 on the play to the 40-yard line. Flag down.
False start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So Jarrett LaRubio, the guilty one. Let's go down to Tina with an update on the Army sideline.
Yes, we're watching this Army defense out there, guys. Before this series, Jay Bateman was getting into Jalen McClinton's ear, and he was kind of coaching him up, and he was telling him, you know, I need you to make the call in those situations. And it was interesting. Yesterday, I was asking him about Brinson's intelligence, and he pointed out that McClinton has the best football IQ. He says he just gets everything.
He does. Here's a pass caught by Mayock. And Christensen finished him off there on 1st and 15.
Let me add on to that, Tina.
Yeah.
James Gibson, their safety, he normally does all the calls.
Right.
And because he's not out there, they've had to rely on McClinton and Cole Christensen on Thursday. Bateman lit up Cole Christensen. He wasn't happy that he wasn't being emphatic enough with his calls.
That's
and
right.
It's tough when you have somebody like James Gibson who does that all and you lose him. You got to have good communication.
Yeah, Gibson took the torch from Ryan England. Christensen backside, got him. Cole Christensen.
Thomas on the carry.
Tracking down Maurice Thomas.
Watch 54 come here. Like you said, Ben, just track it down, read it, see it, and go get it. Nice play by Cole Christensen.
Came in 3rd on the squad with 29 tackles. Had 8 last week. 3rd and 7. Miami 2 of 7 on 3rd down. Ragland. Open man, catch made. 1st down Miami. It's Jalen Walker again. 2nd catch of the day.
I like the 4 wide. I think they should stay in that, continue to press the ball and be aggressive. I think that's where they have the advantage on Army. I was looking at them in warm-ups, and these receivers, there's a definite size advantage, physicality, the way that they look. You know, you've got to take advantage of that. Spread them out. You're not going to be able to run the ball very well against this Army defense. So spread them out and take advantage of your speed and quickness and size.
So as Jay Bateman often says to us, they got some dudes.
That's right.
9th play of the drive here for the RedHawks. Trying to get this down to a touchdown game if they can. Pressure coming, and Ragland was feeling the heat there as he was looking for Maurice Thomas. Elijah Riley applying the heat in there.
Watch Jalen Walker, number 83, come all the way across, and if Ragland has time, he would have been able to hit him for a big one. Jay Bateman dials up the pressure and gets home. Watch Walker get right there behind Max Regan at the end of that play. Ragland doesn't have the time to be able to wait and get the ball to him.
Ragland 11 of 19 for 144 and a touchdown to this point. Becker in motion. Ragland over the middle, got a man wide open, missed him. That was Dominique Robinson. He was wide open.
It's the 2nd wide open receiver that Ragland has missed. Both of them would have been huge plays. Right down the seam, you'll see 11 come into your screen on the left side. Right there, he's wide open. Just throw the ball to him, and he's got a touchdown. Ragland knows he missed another one.
Yes, he did.
He missed Kenny Young in the 3rd quarter on a wheel route. He missed Robinson there. You can't afford against this Army defense to miss it when you have opportunities.
3 of 9 is Miami on 3rd down. They need 10. Ragland got room, takes off, hit and dropped. And stopped, and he stopped short by a couple. Joe Stevenson, sophomore DB, got him.
And you got to go for it here. Yeah. Obviously, you went for it earlier on this drive. Even your 4th and 2, you're down 2 touchdowns. It's a good job by Ragland to quickly get into that 2nd level, pick up a good chunk of yardage, and get him in a manageable 4th down situation. They hit their tight end, Ben, on a little play action route in the 1st half on 4th down. Right there, just like that.
3 tight ends in the game now. They're 2 of 3 on 4th down. Fake to Young. Ragland's got it. Keeps it. Cuts inside. Got the 1st down. What a great piece of running by Ragland there to find the seam and get in there to get it.
He wanted to go to Becker. Number 44 is tight end. They went play action. It wasn't there. You'll see Becker come across, and he's looking for him. Army does a good job picking him up. Kenneth Brinson gets contact, but Ragland just improvises and gets the 1st down.
Maurice Thomas in the backfield next to Ragland. Stays in to pass protect, gets Brinson. This throw down low, and Mayock came up with a catch. So Luke Mayock comes up with a big catch down low to reach that one and get it.
He just adjusted, came back to his quarterback as he was in trouble.
It'll be a 2nd and 6.
Able to get 4 yards.
Richard Jr. out of Sugar Land, Texas. Miami knocking on the door of the red zone. Under 9 to play in the game. 2nd and 6, Miami. Bester in the backfield. They fake to him. Ragland fires near the 11 and incomplete. Sorensen could not come up with a catch.
It's been a struggle today throwing the ball for Ragland. Another time he had his receiver open. This should be a completion right here. Coming all the way across the field. He's got a window and he throws it behind. Now, could he have gone down and caught that ball? Yes, he could have done it. But a better throw, and it's an easy completion and a first down.
Ragland 12 of 22, 148 in the touchdown. This will be the 15th. This is like an Army drive. 15th play of the drive coming up.
Using up a lot of time. You're down 2 score. You have to get a touchdown here if you're Miami.
3rd and 6. They need the 17. Ragland, plenty of time. Trying to direct traffic. Nobody's open. Fires! And incomplete. They look to Robinson there.
Robinson was late understanding what's happening. Yes, your route takes you deep, but your quarterback's rolling. Put your foot in the ground and come back. And that's what his quarterback is telling him to do. Ragland's looking at him saying, come back to the ball, come back. You got to break that route off and come back. And he waited on the ball. Should have done it way earlier. Look at Ragland saying, come back to the ball. You got to understand that as a receiver. No, put your foot in the ground, come back. That's what Sorensen did earlier. Now they got to go for it on 4th down.
They do. 4th and 6. They need the 17. They're 3 of 4 on 4th down.
Let's go.
Ragland still got it. They get him. He is dropped by Brinson. Kenneth Brinson got him. Raymond Wright helped out. Turnover on downs.
Good job for Jay Bateman, his defense. 2nd time, though, for Ragland. He's at 4th and long. He doesn't throw the ball deep. He tries to run it, and Army comes up and gets another big stop.
Team Commander-in-Chiefs wins. Colorado Springs, Ahmad Bradshaw, career high 265. Army won 21-0 against Navy. Black Knights, you touched on it earlier, Jay. The field goal for Navy to win it wide left. Army beat Navy for the 2nd straight season, and they also won their first Commander-in-Chiefs trophy in 21 years. Here's a look at the games on the docket this year. We'll be here for the game on the 3rd.
That Army Air Force game last year, 0 pass attempts in that game. They don't have a completion today, 1 attempt.
Yes. And then, of course, Army-Navy, 3 o'clock on December the 8th from Philadelphia on CBS. So Chuck Martin's guys, that last drive, 16 plays, 60 yards, 6:33, and they could not convert on the 4th down play, Jay.
Yeah, a number of misses for Ragland on that drive. Here's the 4th down play. You got Luke Mayock up top. He's going to run. As you see him, the safety over here is going to have to come over, and there's a window if Ragland throws it. He doesn't. He tries to run it. That's what he did on 4th down a number of times. Right there, there's the window that he could have caught him in. It would have been a first down. He doesn't throw it, tries to run it, gets stopped again. It's been a tough game for Ragland. 12 for 23, only 148 yards. Had the 1 touchdown on the wheel route to Kenny Young, but a couple of drops and then a number of big misses for Ragland.
Army nearly at their average on the ground. 3:06 prior to the snap. Time of possession, almost 33 minutes for the Black Knights. No turnovers and no penalties today for Army to this point.
That's the whole key to this entire team. Their recipe for success is no turnovers, limit negative plays, so tackles for loss, penalties, fumbles, positive yardage, and aggressive on 4th down. We've seen that a number of times today and throughout the year. And then excellent defense, limit big plays. That's what they built this entire program. That's how they've turned it around from 2-10 to 10-3 last year and continuing on this year.
2nd down and 10. Asbury, the motion man. They give it to Woolfolk. Puts his head down. And he gets the ball to the 25. They're going to need 7 here coming up on 3rd down. We'll see what they can do on that.
Yeah, I don't expect them to throw the ball here. Expect them to run it, and even if they don't get it, spin that clock, continue to use up. You got a 14-point lead. You got a new quarterback in Cam Thomas, Calvin Hopkins, who's been very good and very efficient throughout this season. Think about it. They rushed the ball 78 times against Oklahoma, number 5 in the country, had 450 yards rushing against Liberty.
They had a dude, Oklahoma, that had 28 tackles in that game. My goodness. Here's Thomas. Gonna be short. Ball to the 28-yard line, so 4th down.
Well, Koenig got another tackle there. He's got 22 on the day so far.
Man. That's like a month for some guys. Here's Brad Koenig, the product of Ann Arbor, Michigan. 4th and 4, and they trot Schrag on to boot this one away.
Not surprising at all. Take this all the way down. There's 18 seconds left on the play clock. Use up that entire play clock. Snap it with 1 or 2 seconds left.
2 punts, an average of 38 today. For Nick Schrag, averaging 50.5 entering the game. Sorensen, fair catch at the 32-yard line with 6:17 to go in the 4th quarter. RedHawks get it back. Ragland and company will come back on and try to put together a drive, trailing by 14. Here on Miami. Only got a chance before we resume play. Want to remind you, coming up next, we wrap up Armed Forces Weekend with the Mids of Navy as they face a very tough defensive battle against Heisman hopeful Ed Oliver and the Houston Cougars, only on CBS Sports Network. And Jay, we saw him in his first game of the year. He quietly had, what, 13 tackles?
Quietly for a nose tackle, 13 tackles.
3.5 TFL.
The 2 best defensive linemen in the country are Nick Bosa, who just left Ohio State, and Ed Oliver. They're going to be 2 of the first 5 picks in the draft next year.
That's coming up next. Houston and Navy to complete our Armed Forces Weekend here. As Gus Ragland goes back to work, fires one, caught. It's Mayock out to midfield, and
they're in hurry up. They're down 2 touchdowns. Went 5 wide there. No running back. They got the same thing going here. I like it. I wish they went to this earlier. I think it would have been effective.
They had an all-MAC performer in James Gardner last year and was injured in their game, Miami's game against Minnesota. Without him again today, and they have not had Alonzo Smith in this game either. He's been dinged up. So Kenny Young has seen the lion's share of the running back duties.
And James Gardner is a legit NFL receiver.
Yes.
I mean, this is a guy who's excellent. 107 receptions in his career. They really miss him.
Here's Ragland. Fires again. Catch made by Sorensen. Dang, tackled by Army, but it's a 1st down for the RedHawks. Miami's got all 3 timeouts. Plenty of time left. Gain of 17.
But you need 2 scores, so you got to be quick. You got to try and get this ball in the end zone quickly, get a stop, get it back, and do it again.
Here's Ragland. Dumps it off. Catch made. In traffic, Jalen Walker, and he was buried under by Chandler Ramirez, a guy that Jay Bateman gave high praise to yesterday. Said very, very happy with his progress.
Let time run up. You got to quickly get to the line. Get lined up. Don't use up 20 seconds of this play clock.
2nd and 9, down to 5, under 5 and counting now. Ragland looking end zone. Out there, he overthrew Mayock. Coverage supplied by Elijah Riley.
Not a good throw either. Allow your big receiver, 6'5", allow him to go up and make a play. It's one-on-one. Throw it where he can go up and try to make a play. If you want to throw it to his outside shoulder and be safe, fine. But give him an opportunity to make a play.
Today's First Down line is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. It's the only time it's okay to say Navy here, by the way. 3rd and 9. RedHawks 3 of 11 on 3rd down today. Ragland looks, tapped, and nearly intercepted. Max Regan was there off the hands of Sorensen, and it's 4th and 9 with 4:47 to go.
connection between Ragland and Sorensen has been difficult today. A couple drops from Sorensen, a couple bad throws from Ragland, but that was good defense there. They had an underneath defender and a defender over the top. A really small window for Ragland to complete that ball, and he wasn't able to.
Miami 3 of 5 on 4th down. They need to get to the 6-yard line. Ragland, they can't get him back there. He throws, and did Walker make the catch? They say yes. At the 3-yard line, they convert on 4th down, and it's 1st and goal now.
I thought Ragland was going to run it again. He's got tackled 3 times on 4th down doing that. He came up, he ran back, and then he made a completion.
And now he's going to throw it up. Robinson, got it! You've been calling for it, Feely. They go to him. And Dominique Robinson, a high school quarterback learning to play the position, comes up with a big catch there. He just used his size to get over Elijah Riley.
6'4", 240 pounds. Throw him the ball. Go up top and throw fades and take advantage of your height. I don't know why they've waited so long to do that.
Product of Canton, Ohio, capped an 8-play, 68-yard drive, and his 3rd touchdown of the season, Jay.
And the best thing is they conserve time, so it's 4:23 left. You have 3 timeouts.
It's under review.
Making sure that Robinson had it, caught it, got his foot down.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. There's the catch. Yeah, he's definitely in.
Oh, yeah.
That left foot's in right there.
Left foot's in, yep.
He doesn't bobble that ball at all.
Not at all. Should be a quick review. I say that it'll probably be 5 minutes, but nevertheless, they're reviewing it.
So with 4:23 left and 3 timeouts, Miami can kick the ball off. They don't have to hit it onside and try to get a stop defensively. Call the timeouts and get the ball back with enough time for your offense to be able to try to go down and tie this game.
One more look, and left foot clearly in. Here's the verdict.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is confirmed.
There you go. The word from referee Amanda Sauer-Cook, confirmed. So they'll bring on Sloman to try to make this a 7-point game. Ragland now 18 out of 31, 216, 2 touchdowns, 3 yards on that one to Robinson.
Oyatuga right there has had a couple of blocks, one against Buffalo this year that they returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's where they bring pressure.
Riley ousted 81 yards. A big win up in Buffalo as Sloman drills it, and it's 21-14 with 4:23 to go. Hop on the bus. Gus takes him into the end zone. We got a ball game with less than 5 to go. Torrey Cadets settled in, 4:23. None of them are sitting. They're all anticipating Army getting the ball. What do you think? Does Chuck Martin roll the dice here and onside it?
He did tell us that they're going to be really aggressive, even with onsides, fakes, things like that. We haven't seen them yet. You know, normally I would think that you would kick it off here with 4:23 and 3 timeouts. And I think that's what you probably would do. But knowing Army's offense, how long they can keep the ball, their ability, Miami's done a good job here in the second half. Only 110 yards total offense for Army. But as I watched the huddle for Miami, normally if you're going to kick it off, you go over there. It's not a lot of conversation. Okay, we're kicking it deep. That's not what I saw. I saw a lot of communication. I saw the kicker Sloman kind of back off, kind of trying to prepare himself. So I think they're going to kick it onside now as I watch that.
Yeah, well, let's see what transpires. Army's got everybody up except one man back at the 20, and that's Walker. So 4:23 remaining.
Yeah, they got 2 kickers out there now. They're going to kick an onside. I think Sloman, 79, he's the kicker on the left. I think that's who's going to hit it. Probably going to hit it over in this area right here. Go the other way.
Or not. Army's got it, and it's Davidson getting right there and getting his hands on it to recover it. They're
not a good kick right there.
Now, our Ram AP Top 10, Jay, is powered by Ram Trucks. Your thoughts on that?
That's those first 4 right now. Those are the ones you're worried about considering for the Final 4. They're right now. Notre Dame, they beat Michigan. They deserve to be there. Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, undefeated. Michigan's got, I think they control their own destiny because they play right now. They're beating your Spartans 7-0. If they win that game, then they play Penn State. Then they play Ohio State. Georgia probably controls their own destiny if they continue to win. They'll meet Alabama in the SEC championship with a win there. They'd get in.
So here's Army with a ball. Darnell Woolfolk stop. Miami's got all 3 of its timeouts. Doug Costin the tackle to stop anyways.
They didn't call a timeout there.
They didn't. No, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. You get a good stop for 1 yard. I think you call the timeout there. I don't know why you're not calling it.
Nothing yet. Ball spotted. 48-yard line of Army. Under 4 minutes to play. Chuck Martin's team had won 3 straight coming in. Longest win streak since a couple of years ago, and they won 6 straight to end the season as Thomas goes nowhere. And it is Bart Barati who's made a couple of big plays in this second half. There's the timeout there, Jay.
They did. There's a late flag, too.
Yes.
I think it's going to go against Army.
Holding. Offense. Number 74. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
I think
Shuford been dealing with an MCL with a strain. So Chuck Martin with 2 left, 3:40 to play. And these 2 guys were college teammates at Millikan University, going head-to-head here today. And we're trying to make it 10 straight wins here at home. They haven't lost since we were here. We did the game. It was against Air Force 2 years ago, November 5th, the last time they lost at home.
that was one of their goals last year, undefeated at home.
Yeah.
For Miami, they need to get a stop here, call another timeout. Army's not going to throw this ball. They're going to run the ball, make you use your timeout.
3rd down and 9. They're 7 of 14 in conversions today in that department. Davidson trying to break free there, but he's going to come up 3 yards short. Another timeout by Martin and his guys.
32nd timeout, Miami. That is their 2nd timeout of the half.
So we're going to sneak away too after the tackle by Koenig. 7-point game. Don't go anywhere.
They had to stop the fullback. They've given up 125 yards. That's what Army does. They've done it all year. Hit some big plays. They hit 2. They had an opportunity for about 5. They'd be tied in this game or maybe even leading. For Army, don't turn the ball over. Cam Thomas has done a very good job for this offense, stepping in his first start. And defensively get pressure. They have not been able to get a sack on Ragland, but they've harassed him. They've been around him. They've gotten big stops on 4th down.
Chick-fil-A game summary. The time of possession. Army #1 in the country coming in. Nearly 40 minutes per game. The number in that department. 39-44. The exact number, what they're averaging.
Army's been in control this whole game the entire time. They're up 14-3. Miami gets a stop right at the end of the first half.
Here's Ragland, and they get him. Jay Bateman picking his spots and picking it well. The defensive coordinator for Army there.
The stop they got at the goal line stand right before the half kept them in this game. Army goes up 21-3. It's whole different. They've been in control this whole game, and now Miami's got a chance to go down and tie it with 3 minutes left.
They've got 1 timeout left. Over the middle, dumped off. Look out here. A lot of space. First down, RedHawks out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. That was Jalen Walker, a 16-yard gain.
They got to quickly get to the line of scrimmage. Clock is running.
Inside of 3 minutes to go. Fresh set of downs for Miami, trying to even their record at 4-4. Ragland got time, flings it near side, and the catch is made by Jack Sorensen. Comes up with that one. First down, RedHawks.
Stopping the clock as they move the chains here, continuing to move down the field. This is where they've had an advantage. When they've spread Army out, they've been able to move the ball.
1st and 10, 2.5 to play. Ragland, nobody open, now throws it far side, and it's dropped. It is absolutely flat out dropped by Luke Mayock.
It's the 4th drop that I can remember today. A number of big drops. I mean, this is the play right here. You're right at the sticks. If you catch it, you're going to get a first down probably.
Reynolds on the coverage there, 2nd and 10 now. Army's won 9 in a row here at Michie Stadium.
Look for him to try and find Kenny Young again. Get him in a matchup with a linebacker that he likes. Kenny Young's right here in the slot.
Yep. Ragland, 246 through the air. Looking here, nobody open. And has to just throw it away. Good coverage by Army. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Good job. They tried a double move by Kenny Young. Tried to go with a little out and up, but Army had it covered. Nowhere to go with the ball.
Dave Bateman's defense.
Here's Kenny Young. He's going to go here and try and go up. Jay Bateman does an excellent job. His defense was sound. He goes out and up. Ragland's looking there. Nothing. Has to throw it away.
Bateman, what's he going to dial up here? 3rd and 10.
He always says we solve our problems with aggression.
Yeah.
Showing blitz, delayed blitz.
Dumped off into the hands of Bester. And Bester gets it.
A little over half of it, yeah.
Yep, over the midfield line to the Army 47. So it's going to be 4th and 3.
One timeout. This is the game right here. You don't get it.
Yep.
This game is over. Clock's running. You got to hurry up, get up to the line. Most important thing is getting this first down. Ragland could run it too.
4 of 6 on 4th down are the RedHawks. Here's Ragland standing in, dumps it off, catch made, 1st down. It's Walker again, who's got a handful of catches here in this second half, has been very key for them.
They've been running Walker on a lot of crossing routes, brought him all the way across that formation.
They get the 1st down, ball at the 41-yard line for Miami. Ragland floats it out, and I believe he was out of bounds. He was.
Sorensen caught it, but he was out of bounds, as you stated, Ben.
Riley on the coverage.
Very good coverage by Riley. If I had to give a defensive MVP, Nonagle and Riley are right there. I've been really impressed with the progression of Elijah Riley. He's been excellent as a corner for them, playing that boundary corner.
Good look at him, took over that spot from Brandon Jackson a couple of years ago. 2nd and 10, 90 seconds to go. Play clock under 10. Ragland taken off. He's got it. Slides in. He's got the 1st down to the 30-yard line. Clock will stop with 1:22 to go while they set the sticks. Gain of 11.
That's been their only running game really today, is Ragland scrambling. He's looking down the field. There's nothing there. It opens up again. He's able to run for the 1st down.
Coming up on 60 seconds to play now. From the 30. Ragland, Thomas, forced out. Smart play by him. Gets out to stop the clock. Riley forced him out with 59 seconds to play. Gain of 5.
They still have a timeout here, so you have plenty of time with 59 seconds. Run your offense. You got to get in the end zone to score and tie this game up with the extra point.
Miami adjusting personnel. 1 timeout for the RedHawks, as you mentioned.
They went down the field, and when they got toward the red zone, they threw a fade to Dominique Robinson. Looked for him to go back to one of those fades.
Ragland got time. Just threw that one away. 3rd down and 5 upcoming with 53 seconds left.
It's a smart decision there by Ragland. You don't want to run up the middle and get tackled. Then you probably have to burn your timeout, throw it away. You got 3rd down. Now you can reset, get a good play call, and try and execute and get this 1st down.
Jeff Monken pacing the sidelines. That's Jay Bateman nodding his head there, the defensive coordinator. Can his defense come up with a stop? As it stands now, Miami's got 2 chances to get 5.
Riley at the bottom.
Here comes the pressure, dumped off, catch made. Sorensen into space. Sorensen still going, and he's slowed up and taken down at the 5-yard line by Max Regan, but 1st and goal, Miami.
Like that play a lot. They put Robinson on the bottom of the screen. Then they run a little inside screen, get Sorensen down and open.
Monken ran out, take the timeout. Sorry there, Jake.
30-second timeout. That is their first timeout of the half.
37 seconds to play.
Here's the screen. Look one way, come back, and then just run with 2 offensive linemen out in front. It was an excellent play call. Max Regan saved the touchdown.
He certainly did.
You got 37 seconds now to get a touchdown. You got 1 timeout. You got 4 plays here. You don't want to take a sack. If it's not there, throw it away. Ragland has ran the ball 10 times for 58 yards. He's their only running game.
Yeah.
The next highest is Thomas with 10 yards rushing.
Ragland.
Ben, most of those rushes have been the variety where he drops back, looks, it's not there, and he scrambles up the middle.
In the 4th quarter, I was just going to say 186 and a touchdown through the air for Ragland. 1st and goal, Miami. Looking for that fade, throws it up, and Riley on the coverage against Dominique Robinson. Their 2nd goal coming up.
Robinson wanted to release outside. Riley's so physical. We've seen this in a number of games. Just jams him and throws him inside. Yeah. That throws off the route, and then there's nowhere to go with the ball for Ragland. But give credit to Elijah Riley there. He won that battle.
This end zone for Army the last couple years defensively has been a good one. There's the stop last year against Eastern Michigan. Tested against Hawaii. This year they throw it up. It's way too far. 3rd and goal coming up. With 26 seconds remain, Luke Mayock was the intended target.
And Jay Bateman dialed up the blitz, brought pressure. You can see a little cross here. Nautical coming in. Ragland's got to get rid of that ball.
15th play of the drive coming up for Chuck Martin's team. 3rd and goal. Kenneth Brinson, the Army defense, looking to come up with a stop here.
Mayock at the bottom. He's got 6'5" height.
He does. Can he get there? It's up there. Knocked away by Reynolds. Mike Reynolds with a huge play, and the game comes down to 4th and goal for Miami.
What a good job by Mike Reynolds. Little jam at the line of scrimmage, not letting him get a free release, and then fighting. If he doesn't get up there and knock it away, Mayock is going to catch that and get the touchdown.
His 5th pass breakup of the season for Reynolds.
Injury timeout on the field.
So Mike Reynolds is down now.
Yeah, he is. Yep. So that'll let Army catch their breath. It'll let Miami scheme what's going to be the ball game right now.
I think if I'm Army, I'm going to come out and line up here, get a look at what they're doing, and then call timeout. And then go back to the sideline and then talk about it and try and figure out. So, you know, it'd be interesting if you're Miami. Do you line up, get them a look because you think that's what they're going to do, and then shift if they don't call timeout?
What a game this has been. Reynolds with a great play on Mayock there. So the RedHawks won their last 3 ball games.
Mike Reynolds was giving up 7 inches to Mayock on that play. Got up and knocked it away. It was a good ball by Ragland, right where his receiver could catch it.
As Bateman makes his way back to his office, he's instructed his guys what he wants. Here's your ball game, folks. 4th and goal, 21 seconds to play.
There's Robinson up top.
That's Riley on him. And
there's the timeout.
Yep, like you said.
30-second timeout for Miami. That is their last timeout of the half.
Miami took it.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get a look at what Jay Bateman was going to do on defense there, if he was going to bring pressure or not. Right before the snap, call timeout, or maybe they didn't like what they saw.
So Miami out of timeouts. Army with 2 left. 21 seconds remaining in the game. What a ball game this has been. 7-point lead. Army trying to get their 5th win of the season. Miami trying for their 4th.
When Hawaii came down and had an opportunity against Army earlier this season, you thought Jay Bateman would dial up pressure. He showed pressure and then dropped both of his linebackers. They knocked the ball away. They went to Ursua in the slot, knocked it away.
Christensen had the interception.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it comes down to this, folks. 4th and goal from the Army 5. Miami trying to get 6, trying to get 7, maybe 8, who knows? The beauty of it all, you never know what's going to happen.
Now Army calls the timeout.
Yep.
There's the look.
30-second timeout, Army. That is their second timeout of the half.
You always say you got them, you might as well use them.
Might as well use them.
I like that. It's a Kodak look. You're taking a picture, you're getting a look at what they're doing so that you can try to then figure out what kind of play. And for Jay Bateman, he does so much studying on formation and tendencies. If he can get a beat on what you're doing, he told us, look, Miami's offense, they change it up every week, but in a game, when they do something, they continue to go back to it throughout that game. So he's had the entire game to look at formations and tendencies and try and figure out exactly what they're doing. You know, for Miami, give one of your receivers, give Robinson or Mayock an opportunity to win this game. That's your advantage. This defense is sound, has been sound against everybody they play, whether it was Buffalo, whether it was Oklahoma, Hawaii, all the different types of offenses. They've been sound and stout throughout. So your advantage is your height advantage. You got Mayock up top here, Robinson at the bottom.
That's Bordeaux on Robinson.
That's a big size advantage from Robinson and Bordeaux.
For the injured Reynolds. 4th and goal. They fake it, they throw it, touchdown! Caught. Becker, beautiful fake, and Miami's within 1.
Now, do they go for 2 in the win?
They're going for 2.
So too.
There's flags all over. It's going to be a penalty on Miami.
Well, then that would change things. What a beautiful play call and design that was.
Excellent play. Amanda Sauer-Cook will tell us.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, on sportsmanlike conduct, number 44 of the offense.
Yeah.
The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the extra point.
So they were going to go for 2.
That is number 44's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
You saw Chuck Martin, we were watching, they're going for 2 in the win there. They get the penalty, it backs them up 15 yards, and now you got to kick a long extra point. Sloman has missed 1 extra point this year. He's 7 for 9 on field goals. The long of his career, 45.
Army up by 1 with 17 seconds left.
Very little wind down there. It's a 36-yard extra point.
Kramer will hold to tie the game at 21. Snap got it down, and that one is money.
That's an excellent job by Sloman. A good job by his holder to go up and get it. But when you see that high snap, that can have a huge impact on your psyche and your rhythm. Sloman stayed with it, drove it through, and got the tie for his team.
What a drive by Chuck Martin's guys. Spectacular drive by Miami. And they come down the field, they tie it up. On this play, Jay, they get the touchdown to get to within 1.
Yeah, keep an eye on the tight end. They're just going to sneak him. They're going to go play action, fake the run. Tight end's going to act like he's blocking. Oh, pops open, a little pop play. Wide open in the middle.
And the spike.
And then the spike.
Yeah.
Could have cost your team the game.
Could have.
That was not a smart play at all.
No.
That's an automatic penalty in college football.
Yep.
If you miss a 36-yard extra point because you spiked the ball after getting a great touchdown, that's brutal. Your kicker bailed you out. I said it was a high snap. That very much could have been disaster for this team. They were going to go for 2 in the win. The penalty backs them up. They're lucky to knock through the extra point. Now we're going to see overtime here. I don't expect much of Army now.
Yeah.
They've only returned 3 kicks all year. The new rule where they can fair catch. Army's been doing that. I think now with Kel Walker, you try to pop one.
Yeah,
here.
why not? He's got home run like speed. There he is. Only 1 back deep. In a tie game, 21 apiece. What a drive by Miami. Sloman's got it teed up. He'll boot it from the 35, or will he? Wind blew it over. Well, there isn't much. Nine straight wins here at Michie Stadium for Army. And a 21-7 lead. Miami has played very, very well in this second half.
Certainly have, defensively and offensively.
Sloman pounds it down from the one. Here's Walker. Cal Walker. To the 24-yard line with 11 ticks of the clock remaining.
I think Jeff Monken will just say, okay, we're going to go to overtime here. We got a new quarterback who made his first start, doesn't really throw the ball well. Go to overtime, try to execute your offense. Miami 0-4 all time in overtime. Give Gus Ragland a ton of credit because he had really struggled. The offense had struggled to move the ball through 3 quarters. In that 4th quarter, he moved them down the field. As soon as they spread this Army defense out, they're able to move the ball, complete passes, and go down and get 2 touchdowns, tie this game up.
Yep, they'll just take the knee here, as you said, Jay, and we'll head to overtime, tied at 21 here at Michie Stadium. The final seconds tick off. Cam Thomas, his first career start. And it's going to overtime. We'll step aside. The 5th period's coming up. Overtime when we come back to Michie. With Miami, and for the Black Knights, their 2nd overtime game of the season back on the 22nd. At Classic in Norman, Oklahoma. They lost to number 5, Oklahoma, 28-21. Last overtime game played here, Jay, was last year. We were here for it. Temple, when Kelvin Hopkins came in and let him down on a drive in which they had to throw.
Well, and in this game all goes back to the last play, second to last play of the first half. When Miami had a goal line stand, they got 4th down. Army decides to go for it, not kick the field goal.
This has been a great game. Miami, you're the visitors, you're going to be making the choice. Tails. Tails is the call. It's a head. You want defense. You want defense? Which end zone? You want to go there? Okay, let's switch it around. Yep. So you're going to be on defense?
You're on defense.
Yep.
Good call.
Army will be on defense first. Miami will be going into the far end zone.
So you heard that, and we're set to go. So the defense for Army will be out there first.
And you want to be on defense first so you know exactly what's happened. Here's the overtime rules.
All for 25.
It is interesting for Army because their defense was just out there for a long drive.
Yeah, it was.
Miami went down the field and scored the touchdown to tie it. And, you know, you're putting them right back out there after 2 long drives that Miami had. They could be tired, but almost every time in overtime, if you win the flip, you want to be on defense so you know exactly what you have to do on offense.
It's on to Tina. The report on Miami. Tina.
All right, well, Gus Ragland coming up to his offense and saying to them, this is for our taking. They're not going to give it up. We've got to take it.
All right, he has done that, certainly, specifically in this second half. Miami's first OT game since September of '07, a 6-point loss against the Gophers on the road. So from the 25, 1st and 10 Miami. The start of overtime. Ragland under pressure to get him. And he's able to get a yard back. Wunmi Oyatuga's in there to help wrap him up for Army.
Tried to run a little rub route, get Robinson to come underneath. You see Ragland look out to his right. Army did a great job of just busting it up, getting pressure in there, not letting him off the line clean. Ragland had nowhere to go with the ball, had to eat it.
He was 4 of 8 for 61 in the first half, 21 of 37 for 228 is Gus Ragland in the second half, and now into overtime.
And Army had that 21-7 lead. Mentally, they have to get back, forget about that, and focus on getting a stop here.
2nd and 9. Pressure coming, dumped off to Young. Christensen over there, forcing Kenny Young out of bounds. It'll bring up a third and about 4, maybe 5.
What a good job Ragland did here. He knew he was going to get hit. They went with the fake to the running back and then run a little screen to him. Ragland knows pressure's coming. I'm going to get hit. Dumps it off, completes it, takes the shot.
So it's 3rd down and 4 now for Gus Ragland in Miami.
You get a stop for Army, you force him to try a field goal.
Yeah. You need the 15.
Got one safety, so you're manned up out there.
Ragland gets away, got it, takes the shot, gets the first down, just over the 15-yard line to the 14.
Number 29, let's leave the play. One play due to his helmet coming off.
Chandler Ramirez lost his bucket. He's got to go out for a play.
It's been their most effective run all day. Drop back. If it's not there, let Ragland make something of it.
And he did. First and 10, Miami. Maurice Thomas next to Ragland. Ragland wants to throw, got Bester in the flat. Nobody open, chucks it, and just throws it away. 2nd down upcoming.
Blanket coverage in the secondary there. Nowhere to go for Ragland with that ball. As we roll this here, if we freeze it about halfway when it gets into the coverage here, you're going to see, look at this coverage there, there, and then right there, he's got it if you throw it underneath. Nowhere to go for Ragland.
Well done by the Black Knight defense and defensive coordinator Jay Bateman. 2nd and 10. The 14. Kenny Young next to Gus Ragland. Ragland, plenty of time, flings it out there. Riley broke it up. Elijah Riley on Dominique Robinson, and Riley makes it a 3rd down and 10 for Miami now.
It doesn't matter who Elijah Riley has gone against this year, whether it's Hawaii or Gandy Golden from Liberty, all these receivers that he's gone against, shutting them down time after time. He has gotten so much better as a corner. Jay Bateman has complete confidence in him.
3rd and 10. Play clock down to 2 and barely got it off. Ragland, nowhere to go. Army's got him. They're going to give him progress to the 15. Jack King in there leading the charge for the defense.
Army's secondary won this overtime period. They got stops. They didn't allow Ragland to go anywhere with the ball. They force a field goal here, and that's what you're hoping to do in overtime if you're on defense first.
So Sloman will come on.
Here's the coverage downfield again. If Ragland went early, he had Walker. Wasn't able to find him. Now you got the field goal attempt.
33-yard attempt for Sloman to put Miami up. He's had a good year, and Sloman continues that. He's now 8 out of 10. So Miami's up 3, and Army gets their opportunity with a football next.
And here's the problem for Army. They have a kicker in John Abercrombie who just took over.
Yes.
He's 1 for 1 with a 33-yarder in his career.
Yes.
You know, so now you're down here in overtime. You got to kick a field goal to tie it at the very minimum.
Right.
And you got a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience at all.
Very good point by you. And
they had gone with Landon Salyers earlier in the year. He's 1 for 4. They made the change last week.
Right.
Abercrombie's been perfect so far. Looked good in warm-ups. I watched him kick, and he was kicking the ball well. His max kick is probably a 40-yard field goal. That's probably where they're comfortable with him from.
So Army can win this with a touchdown, and Calvin Hopkins unable to go today. Cam Thomas has been outstanding for him at quarterback. Here's Army's crack at it with Woolfolk in the backfield. Darnell plows his way ahead. It's about 4 on the run there. Let's go back to the second quarter, Jay, the end of it, when Woolfolk and the offense could not get in because of Brad Koenig and the Miami defense.
Well, you saw Woolfolk just bowl over people there. Look at Brad Koenig and what he's able to do. He took on Woolfolk 3 times inside the 5-yard line, and he won all 3 battles, including right there on 4th down to get the stop. And at that moment, we said that's probably saved the game. It certainly did save the potential for Miami to win this game.
20 carries, 86 yards for Darnell Woolfolk. Here's Cam Thomas. Thomas got tripped up. And he's just shy of the 1st down. He might have housed that one.
I thought he was going to score. They ran with the little option counter. Brought Thomas to the wide side. He had blockers out in front. There they go. He's got 2 blockers, and he's wide open.
For those of you tuning in for the Houston Navy game, you'll be able to find that online at cbssports.com/CBSSN. As soon as it kicks off, we'll get you out there as soon as this one's done from Michie Stadium. And the 1st down is converted to the 13-yard line, a new set of downs.
They didn't go with the quarterback sneak when it was 4th and 1 right before the end of the 1st half. They've run that a lot with Calvin Hopkins. They went with it here. Brent Davis trusting Cam Thomas, really now just running his offense the way he would with Ahmad Bradshaw or Calvin Hopkins. Not throwing the ball, 0 for 1 so far.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball, but running the ball, Cam Thomas has been very effective.
Brent Davis, offensive coordinator. What's he going to dial up here? Thomas, 24 for 139 and a touchdown. And that play did not work at all.
Who
Guess
do you think it was? Yeah,
Brad
exactly.
Koenig.
He almost got it there right before the mesh point.
Yes.
That's his 23rd tackle. I thought he was going to cause a fumble.
Goodness.
That would have won the game if they get a fumble and recover the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch Koenig just explode in here.
Jeez.
Cam Thomas does a good job of just holding on to that ball.
He really did. What a ball game for Brad Koenig. Just amazing. 2nd and 11 now. From the 14-yard line. Thomas nowhere to go. Got away once, won't get away the 2nd time as Calcagno came in and finished him off. So 3rd down coming up now, and a dozen.
Kimpler did a good job of getting penetration there as well.
15-yard line is where the ball's spotted. Chuck Martin trying to beat his former college teammate, Jeff Monken. Brent Davis trying to dial something up here on 3rd and 12.
I doubt he throws the ball. I think he keeps it on the ground. Look for Thomas to carry this ball. Maybe get Cal Walker on the perimeter. Cal Walker moved. This is going to be a penalty against Army. Or Asbury, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's big. Very big.
Delay game. Offense. Number 4. 5
Called it on Thomas.
3rd down.
Well, the play clock ran out. They had to stand up. I think they knew that Asbury moved, so if they reset, they would have been okay. They get the delay of game. So now it backs it up right now.
5.
It'll be a 35-yard field goal, 34-yard field goal.
If they get nothing. 3rd and 17 now. Army has been very disciplined. Their first penalty of the day. 3rd and 17. Thomas going to throw it. Are you kidding me? Knocked away. No flag on the play. Travion Banks broke it up and saved the touchdown. They look to Cam Harrison.
Harrison's got 4 receptions and a touchdown on the year. Only the 2nd pass attempt all day. There was contact. He was open.
Oh, so close. So
now this is to tie the game, to keep it tied. Go to a 2nd overtime. Only the 2nd field goal attempt of his career.
Would be a career long. Martin's got a timeout, and you know he's going to use it.
That's right.
30-second timeout, Miami.
The career long, the only one he made, you said 33 yards for John Abercrombie.
I always say for a young kicker, time can be a dreaded commodity. You don't know what to do with that time.
Think too much.
Yeah, your mind's wandering. You know, so the best thing for him to do would be to go over the net, get a kick, you know, do his normal routine. I like to go over, get a little drink of water, and come onto the field like it's a normal field goal. For me, if a coach came over and said something to kind of make me laugh and lighten the moment, it was great.
A couple years ago was playing sprint football here at West Point. Army has won 9 in a row here. Abercrombie trying to tie this thing up and force a second overtime. Pot of the hold. Abercrombie's kick is on the way. Good! Got it through! Tied at 24. We'll go to a second overtime.
What a big kick for John Abercrombie. The first time he's had a pressure kick in his career. Jeff Monken made the change, went to him last week. He is rewarding his coach's confidence, knocking one through from 37.
Big time. So each team with a field goal in the first OT. Chuck Martin's guys will get the football to begin the second overtime. For a brief break here as both teams will regroup.
Big sigh of relief from Brett Davis there.
Yes.
I was watching him up in the booth.
They got the 3 that tie it up. Chuck Martin. And a really, really good job with Miami's program. They had won a game in about a year and a half when he took over. Get them headed in the right direction.
A lot of similarities between these two coaches.
Absolutely.
And their careers, both in their 5th year. You know, Miami's 2-10, Chuck Martin's first year, then 3-9. Then they get a good season when Ragland comes in. They start out 0-6, then they win 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Get to a bowl game.
Houston Navy game is underway and now available at cbssports.com/live. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. We're headed to our second overtime. Tied at 24. So Army gets the football. Thomas 26 for 139. Tosses it. Walker's got it. Cal Walker. Big run there from Walker and a good burst. He was stopped by Cedric Raymond.
That's what I was looking for last series, getting Cal Walker back outside. They had a lot of success in the first half with this, getting on the perimeter.
Pickup of 8. Woolfolk coming back into the ball game for Army.
And you expect him to pound that fullback now.
Yep. Walker averaging 5.4 a carry. 10 for 54 in the game. And 2nd and 2. Woolfolk got the first down inside of the 15-yard line.
Inside the 15. And that is a first down.
Reset the sticks, gain of 3 for Woolfolk. 14 they'll go.
Back it up.
Brad Canning. At last check, 23 tackles.
23 tackles, 1 TFL. That's a heck of a game.
Goodness, here's Walker. And the toss, Walker. And there's a face mask up. I thought the same thing. It looks like Bart Barati, the guilty party on that one.
Personal foul, face mask, number 49 defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Here's a look, Jay.
Yeah, tough penalty there. Just come up, make the play. Don't get your hand up high. Reaches the hole, grabs it, turns his head. It's an easy call.
Yep. So now the ball spotted just inside of the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, Army. They've got 4 cracks at it to get in the end zone if they'd like.
Woolfolk's going to get this here.
Yep. And a whistle before the snap. Timeout, Miami.
30-second timeout, Miami.
Chuck Martin wants to make sure his guys are completely ready. They'll talk things over with their timeout here in the second overtime.
He probably wishes, Ben, that he didn't call that timeout because Koenig was going to have a tackle on Woolfolk in the backfield.
Sloman with a field goal in the top of the first overtime. And then Abercrombie comes back in the bottom of that first overtime and ties things up. That's where we stand now at 24 all. Chuck Martin very true to his word. Been talking to him this week about how he was approaching this game.
Yeah, I love hearing him talk just about the respect that he had here for Army as well.
Yeah, me
going
too.
against these cadets, and you know, he talked about how humbly it was. He talked about how great it was to come here, play these guys, but he wanted to win a game.
Sure. Woolfolk, Darnell's got it, runs over him, and still going! Woolfolk! Touchdown, Army! Darnell Woolfolk powers his way in. Army strong for the touchdown. 7 yards on the run. His 30th career touchdown. 7th in Army history, and it is a long history. Here's a look,
The
Jack.
previous play is under review.
See if he got across. I certainly think he did.
Yeah.
Koenig won the battles at the end of the first half. Woolfolk won the battle right there, just running through tackles, would not be denied, continuing to churn and get into that end zone.
Second touchdown of the day if it stands. They're taking a look to watch his knee. This one, I think, is going to be a little tough to overturn.
Yeah, you'd have to have indisputable evidence. There's Woolfolk running right through Koenig, continuing to churn, and now he dives.
The side angle we had, this is a pretty good look.
I just don't see anything there. I don't think his knees were down. The ball goes across the goal line.
The ball's broken the front of that plane. It appears before the knees are down. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So our replay official here today is Steve McBride. And a Sauer Cook, our referee, on the headset with Mark McEnany.
There's the knee down right there.
Right. That left knee.
The ball has reached out.
After review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown stands.
So it does stand. Darnell Woolfolk, 22 carries, 96 yards, and another multi-TD game for him.
And really no better touchdowns that I've seen than that one in his career. I mean, to run through a guy like Brad Koenig, who's had so much success and played so well, and to just keep churning and just will yourself into the end zone.
Abercrombie up, he's true. So Miami has to score a touchdown or Army wins this game. Go to the bottom of the second overtime. (31-24) now. 21 all after the 60 minutes of regulation. If you're just joining us, they're used to doing that here on post here at U.S. Military Academy. And when we're done, we'll get you out to Houston Navy. That game's underway now, available at CBSSports. I beg your pardon, at CBSSN.com. We'll get you out there as soon as this one's over. Woolfolk, as I mentioned, his 30th career touchdown. Now Miami, can they tie it? They have to score a touchdown or it's an Army win. Ragland looking around, dumps it off. Walker's had a big second half, forced out of bounds by Cole Christensen.
Yeah, Jack Sorensen early in a little window, looked at him, but didn't go to him. Army does a good job rallying to the ball, limiting that to a 2-yard gain.
2nd and 8 upcoming for Gus Ragland. Cincinnati, Ohio product. Four cadets looking on, hoping their guys can make a stop here on defense and get another win. Would be their 10th straight here in Mikey. Take the handoff. Now they go back to Young. Kenny Young's got it out of bounds, but he's got the first down to the 11-yard line as Nautical forced him out of bounds.
That's been a good play for them. That's 5th reception for Kenny Young. Had the touchdown on a wheel route in the first half. They do a clear out with Robinson and then hit Kenny Young, and a nice completion and gain for the first down.
Picked up 10, did Young. RedHawk faithful here, rooting their guys on. From the 13, Ragland pressure backside, Riley got him! Elijah Riley came on a speed blitz and dropped him.
What a great call by Jay Bateman. Riley's lined up out wide on Mayock, and they just bring him on the blitz off the corner. Ragland doesn't see him in time. You saw how fast Riley was just exploding. That's what you want when you call cornerback blitz. Don't wait, don't hesitate, just explode back in there.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15. Ragland's throwing for 306. Got time. Now flush, they bring it again, and they get him again. Getting in there was Chandler Ramirez.
I think they called it incomplete.
They did.
Ramirez got the pressure, almost had the sack.
Oh. 3rd and 15.
What does Jay Bateman say? Hey, listen, we solve our problems with aggression.
Yes.
I want to blitz you. I want you to have to make quick decisions. I don't want you to be comfortable in the pocket. He goes with the corner blitz, then he brings the delayed blitz.
He's the master of it. 3rd and 15. Miami's got to score a touchdown and get the point after to extend this game.
Here you go right there. You got Mayock and Kenny Young, a little switch route.
Ragland dancing around, dumps it off, and what a stop! Walker wanted a face mask. Cam Jones made the tackle, and it's 4th down. Miami's got to go for it. Gain of 5. We've said this before, Jay. Here's the ball game. This time we mean it.
Miami's 6 of 8 on 4th downs. Army's 3 of 4 on 4th downs. So we've seen a lot of 4th down attempts today. None bigger than this one.
Miami, 4th and 10.
It's the tight end. They've gone to him a number of times on 4th down.
Ragland directing traffic. That's Becker you're talking about. Yep. Play clock.
Right there.
And time expired. So it's going to be 4th and 15 now as they'll back up 5.
Delay of game. Offense, number 14. 5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Honestly, not the worst thing right there. There was confusion. They weren't sure what to do. It's better to get the 5-yard penalty and get set and know your play than it is to quickly snap it and not know exactly what you're doing.
8 penalties for 56 yards against Miami. 4th and 15. That's Young. Into the slot. Ragland fires. Caught. Mayock. Touchdown.
Pass complete to Mayock for the touchdown.
So Chuck Martin's guys, no quitting them. The point after to tie the game. 18 yards. Is he going for 2? Looks like that.
Well, he told us he was going to be aggressive. He told us we wanted to come here to win the game. What a throw and catch by Ragland.
Big
just
time.
Rips it in. Mayock runs a corner route. They picked on Regan a number of times. Here's the ball game right here. And we've seen this before at Michie Stadium.
We have. At the other end, Eastern Michigan went for it. And Gibby Gibson, who's not playing, stopped him, albeit that wasn't in overtime. Ragland in trouble. Backside coming. They get him.
Wait,
but he got it away. He got it away to Young.
Oh.
And he's stopped by Riley.
How about that?
What an end. What a finish. They go for the win, and Army stops them. They've won 10 straight here at home as they hang on by 31-30. What a football game. Chuck Martin goes for it. Here's the last play of the 2 to win it, Jay.
So many twists and turns. They tried to run a little throwback. It wasn't open. Right there, you thought the game was over. Ragland falling. He just flings this ball to nobody. But guess what? He finds Kenny Young. And now I think he's going to score. And then Army rallies and gets the stop. Elijah Riley with the big hit. He had an unbelievable game. He saved the game for Army. They get the win. Wow, that was spectacular.
What a football game. Army goes to 5-2, and they win 31-30. As Chuck Martin opted to go for it to win the game. You see Boo Corrigan down there shaking the hands of the Miami players. Darnell Woolfolk, another monster game from him. And the Black Knights win 31-30 in just an incredible effort put on by both these teams today.
And give Cam Thomas a ton of credit.
Yeah.
Comes in, starting his first game. They don't have Calvin Hopkins. He rushes for 137 yards and a touchdown. Doesn't turn the ball over. Excellent job, Cam Thomas.
No question about it. Time now to take part, listen, and watch the West Point alma mater. The alma mater, it was a sweet one today for Cam Thomas and Army. Army 31, Miami 30 in 2 overtimes. For Jay Feely, Tina Servacio, all of our crew, my name is Ben Holden. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's now get you to Annapolis, Maryland. For